What for? It's important. It's just one thing.
We'll start with the audit.
Okay.
It's one of the misnomers.
You guys are live.
Wow.
Yes.
Hi, nice to see you.
Stop talking about my camera live.
Right straight. Want to listen?
Oh.
Vice Chair.
Oh, I thought we were doing audit
So
committee.
you're still
No, no.
live.
No,
We're doing.
this is the call to
pledge
order.
allegiance.
We're gonna start with audit.
The formality.
Steve,
Yeah,
that's
we're
you.
doing
This is
Audit
live.
committees first.
Audit committee's first.
It is.
Audit
it is.
committee
That's
first.
not me, that's Steve.
Oh,
Oh,
I see.
all right. Audit committee. That's what I get for that.
There you go.
I'm
Alright.
I'm the next,
You're
I'm the
fine.
next
You're
pledge.
fine.
I don't do the first pledge, I do the second pledge.
The audit committee. So the audit committee, welcome everyone to the Ulster County Industrial Development Agency. We are going to have our auditors from PKF O'Connor Davies. We have Melissa Sott here, who will be presenting the audit. So you're on.
Oh, great, perfect, thank you. So I prepared a packet for you today. And the top set is gonna be the corporation. If you go to the second set, that will be the IDA.
Okay.
So we're starting with the IDA, correct?
So we start with the IDA.
Oh, okay, perfect. So if you go down 4 documents, you'll see the next screen,
The next green one.
the next screen.
That's where we're going to start.
Yes.
All right, we got it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So I went ahead and put together just a presentation, covers some required communications. It covers the revenue expenses compared to budget as well as the balance sheet. So we'll go over those items. On slide 3, that's going to be the required communications. So management and those charged with governance, which would be the audit committee and the board, have certain responsibilities as part of this external audit process. Making sure that the accounting policies selected and implemented are appropriate. The financial statements that are currently in draft and will go final today, that they are fairly presented in accordance with the United States generally accepted accounting principles. Internal controls, very important in any organization. So making sure that those are established, doing a periodic review to ensure that there are proper checks and balances and they're operating in accordance with the policy. Compliance with all laws, regulations, and any contracts that are entered into. And providing us as your external auditors with all of the financial records related to the audit. I just want to give a big thank you to Hillary, Matt, and Mark. It's great to work with you guys, and it's a lot of good back and forth information. So I appreciate the effort. On the next slide, there are responsibilities that we have as your external auditors. First and foremost, we do form and express an opinion. In the auditor's opinion, we will be issuing an unmodified opinion. Sometimes that would be referred to as a clean opinion. It is the best opinion that the agency can receive. Then we also issue a yellow book report. That's a report on controls and compliance. Your investment report would be your cash and investments. We are required to communicate in writing any deficiencies that we've noted related to internal controls. I'm happy to report that there were no material weaknesses and no significant deficiencies at the agency. We do review the accounting policies and ensure that they are appropriate as well. Any fraud or illegal acts that were noted before today, I would have communicated to you, so I'm happy to report that there were none. We did not encounter any significant difficulties, no uncorrected misstatements, no disagreements with management, and probably the most important is we maintain independence with the agency as well. Yes, please.
Fraud or illegal acts, I know. But do you send out forms to us with respect to that?
So we send out a communication overall, just asking if there's anything that occurred during the year that we should know during our audit process, and that is our planning phase. But we do fraud inquiries with a select few, and we do rotate that regularly. So we
Okay.
try to do one board member and then part of management as well.
Then we get letters as their agency counsel. We look at
Okay.
File if there's any litigation.
No, okay, because I asked because I'm on a number of like the school district, and we get when we get an audit, all of us who are on the committee get a letter.
Okay, great.
It's not a selective set. It's every single one of us gets
Yes.
a letter. So that's why I was asking.
We also look at related party transactions, and we do look at every board member in that situation, just to make sure that there's no specific
So
transactions.
since
between.
Randall is asking the question, just to clarify, I did receive an email notification about the audit. I'm assuming everybody else on the board received one too.
No,
No,
I got the
you're the
same.
lucky one.
No, it's
I
the same
think
one we
so.
discussed last time
Yeah, I got it
at the
too.
governance committee. So we, the three of us definitely got it.
It came out in early February
Yeah.
from Melissa, and then there was
Maybe
a report that I believe this year Steve had filled it out as the chair of the audit committee, and we did receive that back from him, specific to asking questions about concerns relating
Yeah.
to any potential fraud and things like that with the agency. So both of those did go out. I saw them. So I think we're in good shape.
All right, so let's move on to the numbers. So we'll go to slide 5. We have here is the operating revenues, operating expenses, and there is some interest income. The schedule includes your original budget, final budget, your 2025 actual result. We provided a variance between your budget and actual, and then also provided the prior year numbers just for convenience here. So if we look at the administrative fees include several items. It includes the annual admin fee, the project closing fees, any project pass-through revenue, application fees, and then the small miscellaneous late fees. So the original budget for those was about $316,000. The actual came in at about $219,000. So you were under the revenue budget about $97,000. Most of that was related to the project closing fees. There was a higher increase in the budget than what was anticipated to be received. There was a project close, the New Paltz Way LLC, that straight lease that was closed on in 2025. That was $135,000 of that $219,000. You did have regular annual admin fees that there was consistent from year to year. Your project pass-through fees were increased as well. So that represents a portion of the increase from the prior year. Your miscellaneous income in the prior year, you had about 12,000. This year, you only had 3,000. In the prior year, there was an admin fee that you collected in relation to a pilot termination and some project modification fees. So those were not recurring, so they don't occur in 2025 as well. So your total operating revenues ended at 222,000. We'll focus on your operating expenses next. Your salaries and benefits, you budgeted 172,000. You actually only spent 152,000. So you had a savings of about 20,000. Most of that savings was related to retirement costs of almost $18,000. I believe there was some attempt to try to see if you could get into the New York State retirement system that never ended up occurring or following through. So essentially, that was a cost that didn't come to fruition. That also is partially in the professional service contract as well. There was you have overall savings of 25,000. 11,000 of that was also related to retirement services, so that was in addition to the savings. You also had a savings of about 15,000 in legal fees, so not as much legal fees as anticipated. And that was, if you look at last year's, there was a drop in the variance, about 18,000. So your legal fees were less this year. You anticipated legal fees in the same amount. So that results in the drop overall.
Chris isn't working hard enough, apparently.
I think it might be that we have been able to negotiate better.
There were some small supplies and materials that came slightly over budget. Last year, you had a bad debt expense, so that was for receivables that were deemed uncollectible. No such activity happened this year. And then the next line is your other operating expenses. Your other operating expenses would include insurance, some seminars and conferences, subscriptions, those other miscellaneous expenses.
Rent.
You did have a negative budgetary variance, so you had spent 15,000 over what you originally anticipated. The 15,000 does cross over three categories. 5,000 was related to the project pass-through. Because your revenue increased, your expenses increased as well, so that it does offset each other. You also spent $6,400 more than anticipated on your seminars and conference line, and that was related to the joint IDA and CRC Community Education Awareness event. Next is
Rent is part of other as well.
rent is part of, yes, I believe it is.
Yeah, that's where it would have to go.
Mhm. And then in addition to those two overspendings with the 4,400 of subscriptions, there was a small budget for subscriptions, but you actually spent on QuickBooks, Spectrum, Zoom, and then for the website as well, for the website address.
I have a question. You're not in the state retirement system, so do we provide 401k or retirement or anything
No.
like that for
So-
you?
It is very complex, more complex than I think was initially thought. Is so the state retirement system, the IDA's cost is significant. My cost also is very, very significant as well. And for me to spend a significant amount of money to buy in to the retirement system, I would have to work till I'm like 80 here to then realize
That could
the full
work.
retirement. So, not that that's like, listen, I'm excited to hopefully get to 80. But the other kind of caveat to that was when I started looking at other like kind of, where the IDA could do a match, things like that, just a little more cost-effective way to get a retirement program is that it starts to get very complicated because of our quasi-governmental status in terms of those plans and our eligibility for them because of the use of, again, public money to invest in retirement programs gets very complex. And I feel like I need to take a class and have a bit of a better understanding.
So that pretty much wraps it up, right?
So yeah, you're over there. I think there's stuff. So anyway, that's where we're at. It's not, I haven't totally given up on it. It's just, I've got to find a way that makes sense for both, kind of how do we best use the IDA's funds and also something that would make sense for retirement
We're just doing the
that,
audit.
kind of where
So
I'm
if
at. And so
we're
we've
doing
talked
the
about
audit.
maybe having a conversation with the county that may be the best avenue for that.
Okay.
Anyway, that's where we're at.
And then the other question, and
Yes.
this may be a holdover from last year, I know we had a conversation about escrow accounts.
Yeah, so we cleaned those up. And that the board, maybe you had missed that meeting, but we cleaned up the escrow accounts. The board voted to move anything that's really behaving like a fee. And isn't really a true escrow to move that into like our, just take the escrow designation off of it. We Natalie spent hours down at the Hall of Records to find everything to make sure we had accounted for all those funds. And then we worked with BST to appropriately move the escrow accounts or move the escrow designation off certain accounts. And so now what is sitting in escrow is true escrow. And then we worked with, Melissa and her team too, to kind of work through that process from that outside accounting perspective. So we should be good going forward on escrow.
Great. Okay. So,
Sorry.
I'm not gonna please. I ask questions as they come up. I think it's very helpful. Your total operating expenses overall ended up at 299,000. So even though you anticipated a loss through the budget process of about 11,000, you actually had a loss of 77,000. Again, most of that was relating to the project closing phase, which hopefully you'll have some additional ones. You did have non-operating revenues of interest income, about $10,400. So overall, your net position decreased 67,000. So you started at 797,000 and you ended at 730. So let's go to your balance sheet. Here we have your assets and liabilities year over year. We'll start with your assets, your cash and equivalents, and your investments. You can see that the net change just switched between the two. So there was an investment in a certificate of deposit. I believe that matured in January, and that was at a rate of about 3.95%. Your receivables, you have several. The largest receivable that you have is 330,000. You can see that it's relatively the same year over year. And in that 330,000, the largest portion, 328,000, is specific to the Kingstonian development. You do have some accrued interest, 3,700, that is related to your CD. So we do accrue the interest related to the period that we're auditing. There is a small amount due from the Capital Resource Corporation, and that changes just based on the timing of the payments. You do have a small amount in security deposits, a small amount in prepaid expenses. Your prepaid expenses did go up slightly, and that was related to just some prepaid project pass-through. Your restricted cash, you can see that that ties to your escrow deposits down below in your liabilities. So any escrow deposits that you do have should be set aside in a restricted cash category, which it is. Your accounts payable and your liability side, that was ended at about 6,700. That includes various invoices to some consulting group, VST, so just some small items and that would fluctuate based on timing of payment as well. Your accrued expenses specifically relates to your accrued payroll. So any payroll that is related to 12/31/25. Your unearned revenue would represent any payments that you received in advance. So that will be recognized in 2026. And then we have your escrow deposits, which the 7,100 includes there's a 6,400 for New Paltz and then a small amount for Gloucester Street Capital. So your net position unrestricted 730,000. So that does conclude my presentation on the numbers. I will go over the management letter, but I'm happy to answer any additional questions before we move on. So this is going to be right under that same document. It would say the IDA on it. So this is our report to those charged with governance. The first page is just a letter offering services. Then we have the contents, the status of the audit. Yeah, the status of the audit is on page 4. So one thing I want to point out is that the Paris report is required to be filed in March 31st. So just make sure that that's completed by then. Let's see. The next few box pages, most of those.
This one.
Yes. So starting on page 5 through 6, 7, those are all just some required communications communicated in the PowerPoint. On page 8, I do want to point out 2 items. So there's a going concern piece in the middle of the page here. And what that is saying is that there's just no issue that there would be a concern that the IDA would be able to continue beyond a year from the opinion date. So the phrasing of it is just a required way to phrase it, and it's almost like a double negative, but essentially it just means that the agency can continue. The other thing I wanted to point out was the significant risks that we identified. So there are 2 management override of internal controls, especially at an organization with a small management team. Management generally has access to essentially everything within the finance aspect of it. So just making sure that there is no override, that there's no unlimited access that's being done without a review. And we're happy to report that there were no management override identified based on our audit procedure. The second significant risk is the improper revenue recognition due to fraud. It is something that is an AICPA mandated significant risk. It just is something that's difficult to overcome. So we did develop audit procedures specific to this and did not note any improper revenue recognition. So we're happy to report that as well. On page 10, this is going to be the report on internal controls. These identify the various levels of control deficiencies, material weakness, significant deficiencies, and other. And the second paragraph from the bottom explicitly says that we did not identify any material weaknesses. And then if you look on page 11, there's no control deficiencies, no other matters. So happy to report on that as well. These are just some GASB statements that are coming up on page 11 and 12. I believe we did go over 103 last year. That's going to impact your MD&A. Just make it a little bit more clear for the readers. And then some items related to capital assets and subsequent events. We do have some adjustments that we posted, just 2 small ones during our audit process. That's on page 14. And then we have our management rep letter, which we will get today, and then that will allow us to go final the report. So that does conclude the entire presentation for HSC.
So the management letter is just that one issue of timeliness of deposits?
That would be on the corporation side. For the agency, there was no issues with the deposit.
Okay. Well, good.
So
Any questions?
do we need to move to
Yes, so Chair, we would make a recommendation
accept
to
the
accept,
auditor's
to the full
report?
board to accept the auditor's report.
Okay. We need a resolution to accept the auditor's report.
So moved.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions or objections? Okay, carried. Thank you very much.
We do need to move.
Now do we
Motion to adjourn.
No, we gotta
do
do,
the CRC?
let's do the CRC
version
and
of
be
the
done.
same?
We gotta adjourn the audit committee at the idea though first.
Oh. Okay, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. We call into the audit committee meeting for the CCRC. Okay, you're back on.
Yes.
So the packet will have the PowerPoint, the management letter, and then the financials and cash. So there's 4 reports in total related to the corporation. We'll focus just on the PowerPoint for right now. Did you want me to go over the required communications again?
I don't think it's necessary. It's
Okay.
pretty much the same, I would think.
Yes. I do want to point out on page 4 of the PowerPoint that we are issuing an unmodified opinion. So it is the best opinion the corporation can receive. I think that's important to note. Also that there were no material weaknesses as well, and then no significant deficiencies. So we'll go on page 5, which is your revenues and expenses. You can see the operating revenues consist of your administrative fees and miscellaneous income. You did have a positive budgetary variance on your administrative fees, about 324,000. So you budgeted 500, collected 325. Most of that was related to the project closing fees. In November, there was a closing on the Woodland Pond at New Paltz. That amount there represents about 1% of the taxes up bonds. You do have a small miscellaneous income. The income would relate to various items, but also includes the event sponsorship as well. So your total operating revenues ended at about 328,000. Next is your operating expenses. Your salaries and benefits came relatively on budget and also consistent with the prior year. Your professional services contracts, there did go over budget about 18,000. There was, the cause of that was a one-time fee specific to the Woodland Pond project. They needed additional admin costs. That was 24,000. That was unanticipated. I believe that was approved in just this past January.
They pay for that, right?
What's the say again?
The
The Woodland Pond project.
additional
one time.
fees,
Pass along.
did we pass
that
along
allocated
those
fee.
fees to them?
they pay a percentage fee based on the size of the bonds. I'm not familiar with what the other fee is.
There was like an additional 24,000 one-time administrative fee. I believe it was between the CRC paid the IDA.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah. I don't know if you were here for that one either. So,
Must have been January.
yeah,
I had
and so
COVID.
anyway, what we did, the amount of time I think that the, staff, myself and Natalie spent on the Woodland Pond project was rather significant, and we felt it didn't really represent accurately in the cost sharing agreement because of the amount of times and public hearing. So we used our fee policy to kind of have the CRC pay a fee to the IDA for the actual
Right.
administrative time. And we used the calculation that we kind of typically charge projects and how we come up with various administrative fees. And that's where the 24 came from.
But we didn't charge it back.
But
to
we
them.
didn't charge it back to
No,
Woodland Pond.
No,
no.
no.
it's
Okay.
just transferring the CRC money to the IDA. which
Yes,
is- which
the
is-
CRC
Was
paid the idea.
recognition of
Okay.
the expense.
If that, yeah, and I'm happy to go over it more.
There, for the bad debt expense, there was no such bad debt expense this year, a small amount last year, so that was to write off some uncollectible amounts. You did have a small amount of other operating expenses, about 1,900. That would also include insurance, subscriptions, some website marketing, postage and supplies. So your total operating expenses totaled about 54,000 for 2025. So take your operating revenues minus your expenses, you had a net income of operations, about 273,000. You add on your interest income of 11,000 and your total at 2025 change in net position was an increase of about 285,000. So just from a net position standpoint, you started at about 426,000, you ended at 711. So let's go to the balance sheet to see where that is. So on your asset side, you do have cash and equivalents and investments. Since you did have that large net income this year, your cash and equivalents actually stayed the same, but you did invest in a CD as well, again at the 3.95%, I believe matured January. The accrued interest receivable is related to that CD also, so that's 3,700. Your restricted cash, which is 3,000, that does specifically relate to your escrow deposit. So if you look down at your liabilities, you can see your escrow deposits there. And the escrow includes two items, your Romeo Enterprises and the Woodland Pond, the small amount in Woodland Pond. And then we saw on the IDA that there was a receivable from the CRC. Here's the payable to the IDA of about $3,400. So again, that will change just because of timing. And then your unrestricted net position of about 711,000. So before I move on to the management letter, are there any questions on the numbers?
No.
So right behind that PowerPoint would be the management letter. Let's see. Same information included in here. Also has a Paris filing that needs to be completed. We did have.
Mike,
Yeah. I'm following along. I have a lot going on right here, right now, okay? I'm following along. I got a lot of paperwork I'm shuffling.
Again, the significant risks were management override of internal controls and improper revenue recognition. We did develop audit procedures and we did not note any instances of either of those. For on page 10 would be the report on internal controls. The third paragraph from the bottom states that we did not identify any material weaknesses. But the following paragraph does say that we did identify some other observations. So that observation would be on page 11. So this is not considered necessarily it's not a material weakness, not a significant deficiency. It's not necessarily a control deficiency, but just in other matters, best practice that we saw. We do test the timeliness of deposits. We do a sample and we just identify to make sure that it was collected and deposited into the bank within 72 hours. That is the recommended time that New York State recommends. So we did notice that it was not deposited timely. So just keep in mind to make those deposits as timely as possible. So
Okay.
that was the only item that we did note for the comments. And then on the horizon for the upcoming GASB statements are the same as well. So we'll see a change in the MD&A going forward.
How late was it?
I'm not sure. I don't think it was overly late. I think it was a few days late. Like I can get that information.
Was it recently?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm only asking because I know you're down a staff person, so
Yeah.
that means,
Yeah,
Right.
so, I think for the most part, we do try to go to the bank, as often as I can. It does close at 4, not that that's the bank's fault, it's just, I like to go there towards the end of the day and I'll have it on my radar and then I'll look at the clock and it's like 3:48 and I'm like, I can't make it. But, yeah, I mean, I think that, again, we do try to, check the mail at least daily. We stamp it as received when it comes in. And we do try to, if, checks have come in the mail, try to get them within that 72-hour window. Sometimes, again, just being kind of
How many
in a
was there?
position of juggling a lot of things. Sometimes I do miss
That rises to the
bank,
level?
so.
What's an other matters comment? So it's just it's like a best practice, something that we saw, we wanted to communicate it to the committee and the board.
well,
It's not material, however, right?
Yeah.
No,
Not
it's not
material.
yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is figuring out your retirement.
Well, I
That-
appreciate
That
that.
that is,
She's going till she's 80. We already talked about
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
but I
He's gonna
just,
sponsor it.
I just want to
we
make sure that
Yes,
Right,
and
you're
I have looked, and
contributing
every
to
time I
something.
look,
Different
it'll
is it-
be like, oh, well, guess what, quasi-governmental, they can't access these things or those things, so every door I think I'm opened, it's a can of worms that's not what I thought
Yeah.
it was gonna be, so. But anyway, yeah, we do try to be very diligent about deposits, and unfortunately, sometimes I just don't get there as quickly as I hope,
Only
especially
once.
when the weather is bad.
Once. We're talking about once.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
well,
you just missed it and once.
yeah,
This
just
is what we're
once,
talking
just
about.
once ever.
I was just gonna say, we're not sitting on it, so there's no
Yeah,
need to discuss
not
this.
a
It's
big deal.
immaterial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like it's not a big deal. I'm not even sure it should have been mentioned.
No.
hey,
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate
We
it.
need the
I move
motion.
to
Yeah, you need a
accept
motion.
the auditor's report.
Recommend to the full board for acceptance.
Randall,
Sure.
motions.
Yep.
Another motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Motion carried. Thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank you so much. Have a good
Thank
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn, Chair.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Thank
objections,
you,
abstentions?
Finance.
Thank you.
Finance.
Okay. We need a break. I'll be back.
Finance, right?
Finance
Yeah, no,
next.
it's on, after next
You
meeting.
can take a break.
No, it's Catherine and Rachel, we're going to
Rachel.
finance.
No, we're good, we're
You
good.
guys can-
And we wait for him to come back? Okay. All right. Calling the UCIDA Finance Committee meeting to order. It is, thank you, it is 9:50. We stand for the pledge. We'll do that.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Page. Michael Ham,
Present.
Rachel Silverman here, Steve Kelly is here. Joe Ferraro is absent with notice. Randall Everett,
Here.
Trevor Kerwin,
Here.
Cost Wall. Okay, mission statement. The mission of the Ulster County IDA is to advance the job opportunities, general prosperity, and long-term economic vitality of Ulster County residents by targeting tax incentives, bonding, and other assistance to foster creation and attraction of new business and the retention and expansion of existing business. I apologize now, if this voice doesn't make it home yet. It's possible. All right, approval of the minutes. We don't have any. Public comment on agenda items only. There is none. Do we need executive session?
No, Chair.
We do not. Any old business? There is none. New business. Okay, right to the investment report.
Do you want me to have Matt come up?
That would be better than me too.
So while Matt's walking up, I just want you to note that this is a slightly different format than we've had in other years, and this is in response to the recommendation from the ABO about, how they would like to see authorities do the investment reports. And
I like it this way.
Yeah, and then from there, I'll shoot it over to Matt.
All right, well, good morning. For those who don't know me, I'm Matt Jones. I work with BST. I do the accounting for the Ulster County IDA along with Marco Palka. So your annual investment report. So this is the report that you're required to fill out for any investments that the IDA holds. The only investments that the IDA currently holds are with bank accounts that produce interest, as well with a CD with M&T. So this report lists out all of your beginning balances with, so your checking account, beginning balance of 1/1/25 at M&T, you had $7,700. And by the end of the year, you had a little over $31,000. In addition to your bank account M&T, you have an account at Greene County Commercial Bank. Beginning balance was $193,000 at the beginning of 25. Your ending balance was $93,000. Then you have a money market again at M&T, beginning balance $65,000. At the end of the year, you had $66,000. And then certificate deposit. And currently, at the end of the year, you had a 6-month CD with M&T that matures on 1/29/26, and that would be your annual yield for that period of 4%, and you had an ending balance of $221,000 in that CD.
Thank you.
The withdrawal from Green was to put it in that other CD, right?
So we do all of our business, all of our bills are paid out of the M&T account. So as you can see, when we started the year, we only had $7,000. So that's gonna run out real quick. And what we do is just to kind of, again, have that checks and balances. Mike is a signer on the Bank of Greene County, so we let him know when funds start to get depleted, and he'll make a transfer into our general checking account, so we can pay our bills. And we did receive the payment from the Kingstonian from the second closing modification agreement, so we don't anticipate making any transfers for a minute. That's kind of give you a sense of why those numbers look the way they do.
Excellent. All right, any other questions on the report? No? Thanks, Matt.
We need to.
Motion to
Oh.
recommend.
Motion to recommend the report to the full board.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. All right. All right, calling to order the UCCRC Finance Committee meeting at 9:53. Call to order, Michael Ham,
Present.
Rachel Silverman, present, Steve Kelly,
Present.
Joe Ferraro, absent with notice, Wenzel Everett.
Here.
Trevor Kerwin, Haas Dubal.
Here.
Okay, pledge again? Okay, we're gonna skip the pledge again. Mission statement. The mission of the Ulster County Capital Resource Corporation is
Actually,
to,
Rachel, can we just point out that there's a misprint on the date,
The dates are off. So,
March 26th.
yeah, because I
Oh,
was a
you're
little
right.
confused. I thought the other ones were
You know,
minutes.
I struggled so much because it was March 25th,
yeah,
2025, and then last year we had it on this year is 25/26. Last year was 26/25. So I kept
Got it.
screwing that up. So that's me.
All right.
I'll fix it.
so note the actual date is March 25th, 2026, not March 26th, 2025. This is important.
I thought there were minutes from last year.
I was in the middle of my mission
Time warp.
statement. I'll catch everyone up. The mission statement of the Ulster County Capital Resource Corporation is to promote community and economic development in the Ulster County in ways that complement the work of Ulster County, primarily through issuing and selling bonds, for nonprofit institutions. Approval of the minutes is not necessary. Public comment on agenda items only. None.
I have a quick question. Should we officially make this so that it doesn't look like somebody's gone it? You know what I mean? Should
You talking-
it be in
Are we on the date?
The
the
date?
date?
We're
Yeah.
still talking about the
So
date.
that it's in the minutes that
Oh,
it
I'll
was
put it in the
noted.
minutes. Don't
She'll
worry.
reflect that. in the
Okay.
minutes.
Yeah, it'll be in
Okay.
the minutes.
I
You
just
don't need,
wanted-
I don't think we need a motion, but yeah.
Date will
Don't
be
worry.
officially, formally noted
Okay.
and corrected. Do we need executive session?
No chair.
Is there any old business? There's none. New business. The investment report, Matt, the investment report for UCCRC, please.
So essentially the same for the CRC as it was for the IDA. You have a report in front of you that lists out all your bank accounts that you have and any investments that you have. So much like the IDA, you have two checking accounts. You have one at M&T, which began the year with 92,000, with 400,000. And then you have a checking account at Green County that began with 76,000, ended with 42. And then you have a money market at M&T, which began with 52, ended with 53,000. And then lastly, you have a CD, a 6-month CD with M&T that matures on January 29th of this year, which had an ending balance of $221,228.
Thank you. Any questions on the report? Okay, great.
I move we accept the 2025 investment report
And present
Second.
it to the board.
and present it to the board.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, so next item of new business is the resolution.
Thank you, Chair. So before you is a resolution of the Finance Committee to recommend to the full board to adopt the bond resolution. This relates to the Village in the Hudson Valley project. Under the Public Authorities Law, one of the tasks of a Finance Committee is when there's an proposed issuance of bonds by a CRC, Finance Committee needs to make a recommendation to the full board to move forward the project, in effect adopting the bond resolution. Because we're actually careful, we have a resolution of the Finance Committee making that specific recommendation to the full board to move forward with the project and adopt the bond resolution. Public hearing, note that a public hearing has already been held with respect to this project.
But this is, to clarify, this is not us approving the project. This is us approving the,
It's a recommendation by the Finance Committee for the full board to adopt the bond resolution and move forward.
but there'll then be a vote during the regular
Correct.
meeting
We have separate
on the project.
resolutions for the full board of the CRC later.
Council, we have a question.
Yeah, we've got another misprint here. In the resolution, it's got it up to $150 million.
Um,
I think
that's-
that's correct.
That's the amount that
Is that
was,
correct?
that was the
Yeah.
not to exceed amount that was in the public hearing notice.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, I think
Pretty
that,
sure.
yeah, that's the not to exceed amount, but the
Yeah.
actual amount of the project, I believe, is estimated to be lower than that, but
Correct.
that's the not
Yeah, we
to
usually,
exceed.
so
Where
We
is
did
the
the same thing
project?
with Woodland Pine.
usually we bump it up just in case, so we don't have to come back for another approval by the CRC board. So it's-
What's the
Pod.
difference?
Yes, that's this
What's the difference
project.
between the
It's a
two?
different
In
name.
terms of amounts?
I think when we talked back and
Is it
forth
what they're talking
with
about
the
here?
company, that was kind of the far out not to exceed amount of 150, so that's the number we use in the public hearing.
It's on
notice.
page
high.
7, they're estimating 120 million, and
That's
then
what I
the,
remember, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the not to exceed amount
Okay.
is 150.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
you know, it's like kind of like when Woodland Pond
120.
closed, all of those numbers, and it becomes like to the penny. So you want to give them,
The idea is
No.
to avoid having to come back for additional approval for the
Oh,
project.
that's fine. That's
That's
fine. I
fine.
just didn't remember it.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, Council, go ahead.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
So if we were to adopt this resolution, the Finance Committee would have done their job. And during the regular CRC meeting, we'll have two resolutions for consideration by the CRC board. One's the seeker resolution, and one's the bond resolution approving the issuance of the bonds.
So based on this, we can assume that in the meeting that we had last month, you indicated you needed to make sure, check all their not-for-profit status and whatever, so you're satisfied that
and we
that
also held a public
everything is
hearing
copacetic.
as well. Since last month's meeting, we had that on March 5th.
Right.
So can I get a
So moved.
motion to present this resolution, to approve this resolution and present the project to the board?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Yeah, roll
I
call.
wanted to
Mike.
roll
Good
call
point,
vote.
Mike.
Michael,
Yes.
Rachel, yes. Steve,
Yes.
Joe is not here. Randall,
Yes.
Trevor,
Yes.
Costu.
Yes.
Very good.
I motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just so you guys know, I know it looks like the CRC is next.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. It's just because the one fit in the folder, so you gotta get the other folder has the IDA packet.
Okay, all right.
Then we'll go back to the other packet.
All right. There's a lot of paper here.
I know. I felt it worth trying.
Okay, let's see, what do I got there? There's audit. Kill that one. All right. Put back on track. Okay. Shut this too, because I don't need it. That's a lot of paper, man. Okay, good morning. My apologies for running a little behind, had a meeting this morning. Like to call to order the March 25th, 2026 Ulster County IDA meeting. It is approximately 10:01 a.m. Roll call, Michael Ham, present, Rachel Silverman,
Present.
Stephen Kelly,
Present.
Joseph Ferraro is absent with notice, Assistant Treasurer Randall Leverett,
Here.
Trevor Kerwin,
Here.
and Costi Walla.
Present.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so let's see where I'm at. Telling me I got a lot of paper.
No. Nope, nope. I already see you're not for your. Should have had a second folder.
You got color.
Big.
You got color.
Oh, it's
Oh,
right here.
yeah.
You see IDA right.
Yeah, it's understandable. That's my notes.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
my,
that's
that's
not
my
a terrible
minutes.
idea.
I separated it.
Disney World.
Okay.
I'm trying to separate it
Yeah,
out, so I
I
got,
like it.
Okay.
it's just a lot.
I believe you.
Yeah,
I know.
There's just a lot. We got a lot going on here. Okay, so the mission of the Ulster County Industrial Development Agency is to advance the job opportunities, general prosperity, and long-term economic vitality of Ulster County residents by targeting tax incentives, bonding, and other assistance to foster creation and the attraction of new business and the retention and expansion of existing businesses. In front of you, you'll have the minutes from February 18th, 2026 on page 3. I ask that you review them and then I'll accept a motion to accept. It is a lot.
I move we accept the minutes from February the 18th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Public comment on agenda items only. It says see insert. Where is the insert?
It should look like this. It was stapled. You can have mine. This came in yesterday afternoon after I already printed everything. You're on CRC.
I have that.
Okay.
I have that. I
Oh, all right.
apologize. I have that right here.
It's the Steger
That's
glass.
the insert.
Yeah, that's the public comment or
Got
that
it.
came in. I'd already printed everything, so it kind of just shoved it in there.
Okay, I have that. Okay, so that's a public comment.
Speak.
On agenda items. Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Can I take a seat here?
Yeah, no, you're great.
Thank you. So we've met before, Karen Hagstrom, Steiner Glass, Hagstrom, Lindars and Ueli. Here on behalf of my clients, Susan Bruck and Jay Martin. I submitted another letter. So I think we've put on the record our objections over time, but I think the main point here is that, or a couple of the main points that I emphasize, which are not new, but is that this was advertised for a public hearing at a time when there was conceitedly, even by this board, an incomplete application, because you've had the applicant come back and fix it twice. We still think it's incomplete, but the fact is the public never got to comment on a completed application. It didn't disclose the litigation. It didn't, the financial form, which we think is defective, and we've talked about that as well, but even if it were adequate, it was dated January 5th for a public hearing on January 7th. It wasn't uploaded in time for the public to see it. So when the public hearing was scheduled, there wasn't even a financial document in your record. As I said, the litigation was not disclosed. The public should have had the opportunity to question and comment about that. And the ownership, as we've discussed, was not fully disclosed. And I understand the point of the board was, well, why do we care? Well, we care because this board has a duty to, that the conflict doesn't impact us, it impact my clients, and it only impacts you. That's not correct. You're here for the public. You're here for the town taxpayers. My clients are town taxpayers. They have legitimate concerns about holding this board to task to make sure they're undergoing this process correctly. It's not a tactic on my part. It's legitimate concerns about, I've been practicing 30 years. This is, just legitimate legal concerns about a process that's supposed to be followed and whether it has been. That's my job as an attorney, is to look at those things. The financial impact is quite disturbing, in my opinion, that this is just an adoption of what the applicant has said. There's been no independent analysis. So I know just in Dutchess County, where we're from, for example, they hire a third-party consultant, Camoin Associates. They have a contract with them, their IDA, to have a independent analysis done of the finances to ensure that the incentives align with projected economic benefits and what is the benefit to the community, because these are tax dollars. I see smirks going back and forth. But these are legitimate issues about making sure that on an independent basis that this application, which just says it's going to cost $11 million, but we've gotten 4.5 million already, and just bare numbers without any backup or any independent analysis of that. Normally that's done, for example, in Dutchess County at the applicant's expense to make sure it's going to benefit the community, because you are stewards of those tax dollars. So unless there are any questions, I think I'm not raising all of the issues. Obviously, they've been raised at previous meetings or in my letters to this board. Thank you.
Thank you.
No comment. I'd like the record to reflect that the board's position as stated just there is not accurate.
And I concur. In fact, counsel, I think we should note that we have not said that we don't care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is misrepresentation.
I don't think it was that you don't care.
Ma'am,
It
this
was
is public
you-
hearing. This is not up for comment.
You
well,
made
the
your
record
statements.
speaks
We
for
made
Public
ours.
comment only.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other public comment on agenda items only? All right, let's move ahead. Council, anything for executive session?
Don't believe so, Chair.
Okay, perfect. So the chair's report. We continue to get applications from people all over the place. We're vetting out the list. We continually care to see what we do properly as we move ahead with this board. I commend everybody on this board for the great work that they've been doing. There's been a lot of stuff going on with the reporting, with Paris, with ABO, you name it. I believe that we're one of the most transparent boards out there on the IDA, and we do very, very exceptional work. So with that being said, that would be my report, and I'd like to hand it over to our executive director, who always has a tremendous report.
Thank you. And just let the record reflect somehow, I lost the executive director's report on the agenda. Adobe was not my friend this month, and I think when I went to fix what you guys had originally gotten with the weird words, somehow I lost that. So I'll make sure that's noted in the meeting.
So can we skip, so are we skipping to the audit reports then?
No.
Come on.
I promise this will be, I promise this will be brief. I wanted to give the board an update on where we're at with just our interaction and outreach to the community. So I'm sitting on kind of 3 different, you know, like community focused, I would call them task forces. One with BOCES, they're working on kind of developing a new playbook for supporting, students coming out of school, how do we help get them into jobs? And so we're working on that commission. We're also still working with the tourism on their work that they're doing around sustainability. So those, I'm going to send them out to the board, but you may have just seen in your travels that there is right now a survey going around. So if you see it and have the time, please fill it out, but I'll make sure that all of the board members get it. They'd love to hear your input on our tourism economy. And then we're also working with the Office of Economic Development, which I will update everyone that they recently appointed Joshua Stratton Rayner as the new Director of Economic Development. I'm going to ask him to come present to the board, hopefully in the coming months. And we're very excited for that permanent appointment. And we're working with that office on their Main Street projects that they have going on to try to support some of our main streets. And then moving from there is we still, try to engage and attend whatever opportunities are kind of out there in terms of economic development, reaching out to members of our community, and going to chamber events, other economic development events. So that's going really well. We are excited to announce that this year is the 50th anniversary of the Ulster County IDA. So we are super thrilled to be here in this moment to be able to celebrate that. So we've been, talking with the chair and some other members. We'd like to, I think, this year do kind of like a celebration around that and have our annual event really be focused on kind of where have we been in 50 years? What have we done? Where are we? Where are we going? And so we're excited to be putting that together. And then we've been really thinking about how do we do more to reach individual members of the community, educate them on the IDA. And so we're looking at doing some tabling events, hoping to go to the Blueberry Festival down in Ellenville. They're currently seeking people to come and table and hopefully get out to library fairs, other events where they're really community centered. These aren't necessarily tourism events, but ones that they're welcoming the local community so we can talk more and educate people about what's going on at the IDA. Moving to more administrative things, we did hire someone finally. They start on Monday. Super excited. His name is Ian. He comes with really great background, and I think he'll be an incredible asset to our team. So we'll be looking forward to kind of getting him on board. It was just paperwork kind of nightmare, and I felt really horrible that would be the way someone starts at the IDA, is watching me curse at the copier. So we decided to have him come on Monday, and so excited to be welcoming him. And then lastly, I think I just want to not really go into detail, but let the board know, we're pretty much ready to go with Paris once, you've had a chance to review and accept that. So we anticipate an on-time filing. And then, projects, I think the majority of the work the IDA has been doing is going into the projects that are before you today, but we will anticipate some more projects on the horizons in the coming months as well. So I want to thank everyone for all their hard work, and I will answer any questions. Otherwise, we can move on to the rest of the novel here.
No, but last but not least, Hillary,
Yes.
the great work that the board has done in getting over to the site visits.
Yes, thank you.
Everybody has done a tremendous job, and that's great. So
really exciting. I love going out and seeing them, so it's been a really great experience.
Well, Woodland Pond is putting those bonds to good
good
use.
use.
they're busy. They are busy, yeah. Good.
Okay,
Good.
thank you guys.
Great project.
Is that it, Hillary?
All I got.
Okay, so we'll go into committee reports. Steve, audit?
The audit, the Loki Brill report is on page 11. And you can look at that. Compliance is at 82% for the month.
Nothing, I just separated my pages all out because I was breaking up. I apologize, Steve.
So I don't have anything to add to it.
Okay, Steve, that's it?
That's it.
Okay.
I think
Well, no, we need.
We have to go into
Yeah.
the audited financial statements, right?
Yes.
Yes, page 14.
we just reviewed them, so we're,
This is all done.
So there's a lot of different things we're gonna go over. Some is related to Paris that you haven't seen yet. This is one that you have seen, and this was the presentation Melissa had given
From
to
Melissa?
the audit committee. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so we
what
can
we're-
reflect that this has already been given.
Wait a minute. So,
Oh,
Okay.
no,
There was
thank you.
There's a recommendation made by the audit committee. Now, the full board makes a motion to accept the financial statement.
So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, thank you.
Did we do that again for the
Ye-
financing?
Yeah,
Did
we're
you
We're
gonna
do
have
gonna
to
do it
repeat
for
it.
the investment
Mhm.
report
Correct.
next. That's Rachel, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Steve. Finance, Rachel?
All right, so for finance, we have a recommendation from the finance committee to accept the investment report for 2025.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Governance, Scott Stu.
Yes, sir. Brief update. One topic is regarding some enforcement of reporting and how to tackle that. Let Hillary handle that.
Yep, thank you.
There are a few names that come to top and a couple of topics, right?
Yes, so just want to catch everyone up. We are really pleased to announce that all of our projects did submit their documents, so we are able to file on time. However, not everyone submitted it on time. So we will be assessing some late fees to specific projects. And I just wanted to go over what those projects were. And then from there, we'll work with BST to get those invoices out in accordance with our updated late fee policy. So KARG2 LLC, this is sometimes known as Mary's Avenue project. It's the building next to Benedictine Hospital, was reported paperwork late to us, and it still has their annual fee outstanding. The Marlboro District Route 9W or Route 9 LLC, this is also known as the PODS project. They also reported their paperwork late, and as well as their annual fee was paid late, and some of their supporting documents was also received late. So we will be assessing a late fee to them. Additionally, Stavo Industries, they had some turnover in their management, and while he was very responsive, felt that just I think a little kind of understanding what we were looking for and getting that timely. We did eventually get it. We anticipate this will go smoother next year, but we would assess a late fee to them. The Greenhouses LLC, while they reported the majority of their documentation on time, there was some missing information that resulted in a late fee on that project. And then JBT has also had some changes into their configuration. They're now, instead of JBT Wolftech, they're JBT Morel. And with that, we got some late reportings from them. And so those, I have the dates that they reported if anyone needs it, but otherwise we'll be assessing late fees in accordance with our late fee policy for those projects.
Pods and Marys are not new to this tap dance.
No.
And they're all, I believe, consistently.
Yeah, PODS, this is so.
They, I remember, I was chair during
Mary's
that.
Ave.
No, I'm talking about pods
Pods.
down in Marlboro.
Yeah.
That one, and then they've They're always,
So they've had a lot of turnover in their tax department, which is based out of Florida. I was able to call as a customer and manage my way through the tax department and got a hold of the new person who is responsible for the reporting. And again, really working with them, working with counsel to ensure, well, not this counsel, but his,
Predecessor?
first in command, Shannon,
Oh, the
to
real
make
boss.
sure to make sure that what they did submit was sufficient. And so we were able to button all of that up, but it was quite a timely process. In addition, their initial payment that they sent to us, they then stopped payment on that check. So we also, in addition to receiving, documents late, we also received their annual fee was significantly late as well. So we will likely be charging them the late fee based on the date that we finally received the fee and not the date that we received the paperwork. So those are two different dates. We're going to go with the latest date because of
and
that.
does the fee, does that also include the administrative time that you have to take in order to chase them down
So
for these things?
yes, so if you recall, we do charge obviously an administrative fee. And then the late fee really reflects that administrative time. And so for people reporting as late as they did, that's a $2,000 late fee. So I feel like, it's more than their actual annual fee. So we do feel that that is meant to reflect, kind of the unfair use of IDA time
Right.
to chase that.
Correct.
We may want to think about doing something for those who are consistently
So
late.
why don't we
with
put that as
this
a
stuff.
future agenda item?
Yes,
We have a
exactly.
lot to
Let's, I
do
think-
here.
We can,
We'll have-
bring this up in next governance.
And
I just bring it out.
No, no,
I'm
no,
just
you're
throwing
right.
it
So
out.
what we were thinking in governance is we will discuss the problem items, especially the accounts that we're having issues with or consistently.
Yeah, they're not new.
And there might be some things that we might have to do. For example, we don't have a policy for somebody declining or canceling a check.
Yeah.
So we need to think about that. But at the same time, we also need to think about at what time do we send a letter from our council and enforce something. So we have thought about it. We'll bring it up in governance. I think it may be prudent not to discuss that here,
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine, that's fine. And just a quick question with respect to Mary's, is it job numbers
No,
that they're not?
no, they're fine, in
Just-
terms of they just
just
have so many
money.
tenants, and each tenant is its own
Yep,
large
yep.
entity,
It's-
like
yeah,
Nuvance, and
It's,
so the guy from Westchester Medical, he's super responsive. It's
the
the
tenants.
tenants, but this
So
year
it's the
they,
job number. It is ultimately the job
yeah,
number.
they were actually much more timely than they had been in past years, so I was happy for that. I wasn't gonna complain. They're only like 10 days late, which is not.
Let's
Danny,
get all
please.
this over to Costuba Governance and let
Sounds
him
good.
get that ironed out in governance, okay?
I have the second one. Chair.
Updates to the housing policy?
Yes. So Chair, Board, we have discussed this in the past. There's a draft modification of the housing matrix that the governance committee discussed, and we're recommending that the board reviews it. I would suggest the council, if you are able to, just walk through some of the points, please.
Sure. So
And also the relevance of those, so we can just.
yeah,
appreciate
and
that.
I'll lean on costume for some of the reasoning behind this, but take a look at Exhibit A.
Pages 81 and forward.
Yeah. So specifically, let's look at the last page with the table. if you
Yeah.
would. The concept here is, as you recall, that the matrix is set up. The points you get, a project applicant gets based on the matrix determines the length of your pilot and how, for lack of a better term, how sweet the pilot is in terms of the real property tax exemption. So you'll see Exhibit A on the last page. It's a red line reflecting the changes. The first one to point out is under the column environmental sustainability. Sourcing of at least 75% of the raw materials, lumber, concrete, ironwork, and other building materials directly from the county, and limited importing from the other areas. That was something that the governance committee thought would be helpful in terms of providing a point and also supporting the local economy based on that. And then at the end, you'll see, well, also under community investment, there's a point for using 3 local vendors. And then under the affordable unit set aside, we changed 10% to 15%. I think the concept was most municipalities already have a 10% set aside in place for affordable housing. So this raises the bar a little bit in terms of getting points for that. But if you look down that column, also, we adjusted that from 20 to 16 through basically 19.9% for 2 points, 3 points instead of going over 50%, it's now 20% of the total units. So I think the idea, and correct me if I'm wrong, Costa, was make the points a little bit more acceptable, more closely mirror the projects that are being completed. So that's kind of the 30,000 foot on this. And just to step back for a second, this is just a vote to approve a public hearing resolution, public hearing to be followed on this project. Even though that's not legally required in something like this, we always advise our IDA clients for the sake of transparency, anything that even touches the UTEP, which this does, to hold a public hearing and get input from the public. Not a legal requirement, but we think something that should be done.
Chair, I believe that's prudent. We should heed to that advice, and we would recommend to the board that we move towards a public hearing on these changes.
So can we get a motion to move
Motion.
a public
Second.
hearing resolution?
Roll call vote?
Yep, roll call vote. Michael Ham, yes. Rachel Silverman,
Yes.
Stephen Kelly,
Yes.
Randall Everett.
Yep.
Joseph Ferraro is absent with notice. Trevor Kerwin.
Yes.
And Costa Wall.
Yes.
Thank you.
And cost. Affordable is defined based on the counties, whatever, right? Okay.
And then beyond that, we ask for
Yes.
more threshold. So it's set by the municipality, is it? That we ask for
Definition of
more.
affordable.
Oh, but the definition is set by.
Co-op them either, right? You turn the condo, they can't.
Depends on
Where,
how it's defined.
where is this one coming into play?
Where are you, where are we?
Loan fund.
CRC.
The loan fund,
CRC.
CRC.
Oh, that's CRT. That's
Yep.
correct. I got it here.
Yep.
It's mixed in. My paperwork. Okay, is that it, Costa?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you very much. Financials, accounting, administrative updates, 2025 UCIDA annual report, page 86.
Great, we got Matt coming back. Is
Yeah.
that all right, Chair?
Got it intertwined in my.
Oh, yeah, you should be rubbing it on everything.
Yeah.
Alright, so starting on page 86, you'll have your parish report, which is an annual filing you need to, that the IDA needs to file by March 31st with the AEO. And I'll walk you through the different sections in that report. So your first section is your governance information. So basically how the IDA is run, the bylaws you have in place, committees, different staff, all that, like posting it, all your updates on your website, just so you're in accordance with certain regulations laid out by the state. Your next section on page 88 is the listing of the board of directors, which is one of this table. I will ask that you all could please review your sections and make sure the information is correct. So we will make any adjustments before we do the final filing with the ABO.
Let's see. That's the,
Here's the 15. And I can remember for that.
I thought it was the Joe for. Yeah, yeah.
Does this go before the governance too?
No, not traditional.
Your next section is the staff listing for the IDA for fiscal year ending 12/31/25. You have 2 members, Hillary and Natalie, as administrative services, and just list out salary information and benefits. Your next section is also your benefit information for the board. No board members receive any sort of benefits.
Yeah, that
for
was pretty
serving.
easy.
No.
Next section is also pretty easy. It's
Not even-
subsidiary, so if the IDA had any sort of subsidiary corporations under it, you reported here. The IDA does not have any. Section after that is your audited financial information. This is stuff that Melissa went over. The board has already approved the report, it's just filing it with the ADO. The next section on page 98 is the debt that the IDA has. There was no new issue debt for fiscal year 25, and then you just have outstanding conduit debt for, I believe, 2 projects. And on page 99, we just report the amount that was retired through 0.5. Next page is also easy, and the page after that, it's the real property that acquisition and disposal of the IDA has. The IDA did not acquire or dispose of any property that was voted on. So your next section is the list of your IDA projects, list out all the current projects that the IDA currently has. And all the pertinent information, pilot information about the project, where the project is located. All the way to
All the way through 126.
yes.
I've always hated watching the ideas.
You and me both.
Always.
The next report is just the mission and goal measurement report. Heather, I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that.
I will answer questions. This is, a report that we do summarizing, our mission and how we met our goals for the year. And then the next one is operation and accomplishments. Again, this really looks more at operational things, implementation of our housing policy, prioritizing transparency, things like that. And then we have, even though the last one is our real property. Oh, well, that's it for the annual, before I move on, sorry. That's our entire annual report. So we're happy to make any edits, corrections, answer questions that the board may have.
Nicely done.
Yes.
So we just need a motion.
Motion.
So moved.
Second. Good job.
Thanks.
No roll call needed.
Just all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so let's move into the procurement report, page 133.
So, yeah, did I put stuff out of?
Um,
Okay, so I went slightly out of order, I'm sorry. It was real property, so we'll
Okay,
like this on 131, but we'll skip to procurement. This is, just really talking about our professional services, our contracts that we have with our partners. And,
This, right?
no, that's real property.
That's
It
real
was that,
property.
I'm
It's the next
sorry, I
page.
stuck it out of order
Oh.
somehow. So procurement lists all of our vendors, our contract with them, and, the amount contracted for. And
What
that's
page number is that?
133
Yeah,
through
it's right after.
Okay, I got
137.
it.
Yep.
Oh, I put real property in here twice. Never mind. I
There you
did. So,
I'm gonna move this again.
Okay.
iPads for everybody. Save a
save a lot of
tree.
so I think we need just a motion to accept the procurement report.
So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then the last one is the real property report, which is basically that we have no real property, but we do want to disclose
Page 131.
131, or you can find it
138.
again on 138.
Double up.
You're
Two
welcome.
bites of the apple.
It's the same report, and it really just, kind of discloses our rental of our office space for the purposes of, the IDA doing business. So that's,
Do we need to approve that?
yeah,
Yes,
please.
sir.
So moved.
So second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and that's it. That's not for you anymore.
Okay, so we covered them all. Property report, procurement report. Okay. Old business. Pending transaction, counselor?
Thank you, Chair. So if you take a look at starting on page 139 to 141, we have a healthy list of projects on the horizon for closing. Currently 8 that are percolating. So that's in excellent shape. And then turning to the pending enforcement list, 142. I'm happy to report that the Kingstonian matter has been put to bed. Modification agreement was entered into and an amendment to the pilot, basically just an extension of the sales tax exemption. And the modification document was recorded with the county clerk as well as the First Amendment. And the IDA received a portion of their administrative fee. So I think everyone is happy with that.
And
Yeah.
that's monthly,
Okay.
right?
No.
Paying that monthly?
No.
No.
They, you may have missed this one too. So,
You want to be a big shot and go away on
Yeah.
vacation.
No,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
COVID. I had COVID. I could have come in.
when I presented the proposal from the board to make monthly payments, they, I guess, I don't know, they had to change a heart somewhere along the lines and they agreed to pay the 120. And so we got it. And we've entered into those documents. They've been filed with the real
Got it.
property
Enough.
and we're all set. So.
Good.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, commercial finding resolutions for 3555 Highland LLC project, page 143. Counselor?
Thank you, Chair. So a reminder that the Highland project is a mixed-use project that includes apartments. So this is Randall's favorite topic. There is a housing component of this project, obviously. The IDA statute on the general municipal law does not specifically delineate housing as a project. However, IDAs have done housing projects for decades at this point. We as a firm have gotten very comfortable with a housing project being commercial in nature. There's a comptroller opinion on this matter. From 1985, the state's weather project that consists of the construction of an apartment house is a commercial activity within the meaning of the act being the IDA statute, is to be made by local officials based on all the facts relevant to the proposed project. And any such determination should take into account the stated purpose of the act, that is the promotion of employment opportunities and the prevention of economic deterioration.
That was 1985.
Correct, and it's still leaned upon by IDA council throughout the state.
And that was where? Albany?
I'm not sure what the underlying project was, to be honest with you.
Okay.
At any rate, because of this not specific mention in the IDA statute, as Boy Scouts, we have a commercial findings resolution here to really hammer home the point that this is a commercial project. As part of this, you'll see references, there's a letter from the town of Lloyd supervisor in support of the project that it will strengthen local economy and support local businesses. Cost benefit analysis reflects that the project will generate new spending in the area. There's also a reference to the 2023 Ulster County Rental Housing Survey, and this is in line with that survey in terms of promoting housing in the town and the area. So by adopting this resolution, the IDA would be reflecting that the project is compatible with the county's need for housing. It'll increase opportunities for the residents of the county. It'll generate increased earnings, income, and expenditure opportunities, and that it is a commercial project within the meaning of the act. So we always adopt this resolution, we always prepare this resolution for consideration by any of our IDA clients when there's a housing component to a project. Happy to answer any questions.
Now, this is the project,
This is the project that's on
9W.
9W,
Right,
where the old
car
Chevy
car
place
dealer,
used to be, yeah.
and they're doing all the infrastructure and whatnot for the water and the
Correct.
sewer and the
Yeah.
da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Water, yeah, to increase
Let's-
water pressure.
And
There's a sewer treatment plant that we will be maintaining ourselves.
Yeah, let's keep it to the table here,
okay,
okay?
no, I just
Yeah, I got you.
okay,
I got you. You're
okay.
trying to, yeah, I got you.
Okay,
All right.
yeah, okay. Okay,
Okay, so on the commercial findings resolution, I'll take a roll call vote.
First, do the first and second chair.
Oh, I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Nope, roll call vote.
Roll
Roll call vote. Oh, boy, I'm all over the place tonight. Run late for 15 minutes.
It's 147.
Michael Ham, yes. Rachel Silverman,
Yes.
Stephen Kelly,
Yes.
Randall Leverett,
yes.
Joseph Ferraro is absent with notice. Trevor Kerwin. Yes.
Wow.
Trevor Kerwin.
Yes.
And Costa-Wallop.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You have no idea what I think.
You're welcome.
You
Uh,
have no idea
Okay, moving it along,
what
the
my
secret
parameters
resolution
are.
for
If it's in
3555
New Falls, it's no
Highland
good.
LLC
No, no,
project,
no.
page 150, Counselor.
Thank you, Chair. So in this case, the Town and Planning Board acts as the lead agency. They declare this a type action, but issue a negative declaration that the project will not have a significant effect on the environment. So by adopting this resolution, the idea would be concurring with the Town Planning Board acting as the lead agency and saying that they have no reason to suspect that the determination by the planning board was incorrect. This is kind of the gold standard for an IDA to piggyback off the local planning board determination under seeker.
I make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
roll call vote.
Roll call.
Now you'll get a
A
no.
roll call vote.
You're not supposed to disclose information.
Just messing with it.
Okay, roll call vote, okay? Michael Ham, yes. Rachel Silverman.
Yes.
Stephen Kelly.
Yes.
Randall Leverett.
Yes.
Joseph Ferraro is absent with notice. Trevor Kerwin
Yes.
and Costa-Wallop.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I won't give a pregnant yes.
Okay,
Pregnant pause, yes.
That's right.
okay. Counselor?
Yeah, approving resolution, Chair. So
Yes.
now that those resolutions have been adopted, this resolution authorizes the IDA to enter into a pilot agreement and the leaseback documents. This is a 15-year pilot. You'll see that the exemptions that are being provided by the IDA in terms of financial assistance are listed in Exhibit A.
We're still talking about Highland.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't, I haven't,
Page
Yeah.
one-
No, 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 we're still on.
193 right now, exhibit A.
I just wanted to make sure I
Same
wasn't
project.
giving out yes
No, no,
votes
no.
for.
We got it.
Wrong.
Good.
He's getting used
We're
to
not trying
saying
trick you
yes.
into anything.
Wait till we get to New Falls.
You're good. You're on it.
So like I said, authorizes entering into the project documents, authorizes that finds that this is a project within the meaning of the IDA statute. It's our standard vanilla approving resolution.
So moved.
Roll call vote.
Who's second?
Trevor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Michael Ham, yes. Rachel Silverman.
Yes.
Stephen Kelly.
Yes.
Randall Leverett.
Yep.
Joseph Ferraro is absent with notice. Trevor Kerwin
Yes.
and Costa-Wallop.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right, Counselor,
Okay,
you're on today.
so
I know exactly. I know exactly what you do.
we'll now discuss, I've been saying it wrong for months now, Accord project, apparently. So this is the commercial retail findings resolution. In this case, the retail component is being discussed because more than 1/3 of the total project costs are dedicated space for retail. As we all know, retail projects are generally prohibited under the IDA statute from receiving financial assistance unless there's exceptions. In this case, as a hospitality facility or a hotel, it qualifies for what we would call the tourist destination exception, meaning that it'll attract visitors from outside the Mid-Hudson Valley economic development area to stay at this facility. Because of that exception, we don't need county executive approval for this one. It also finds that this is a commercial project under the IDA statute. Of course, it is. Happy to answer any questions.
What page are we on?
We are
244.
I'm deep here. I'm deep in paperwork.
And while you guys are finding your pages, I just want to add that there have been it's unpaged, but it's sitting between page 312 and 313 is the organizational chart for the project applicant. Additionally, the IDA does use a third party. We don't use Des Moines, but we do use MRB Group as our third party that does an independent cost benefit analysis. So, and you'll find that on page 373. You'll note that this is our standard cost benefit analysis that we do with projects. There may be occasions where we've done an expanded cost benefit analysis, but that was not necessary for this project. So you'll find that on page 373, done by the MRB group.
And Hillary, just to make sure,
Yeah.
any of such projects undertaken as by outside vendors, the fee is paid by the applicant.
Yeah, so that,
Correct.
and you may have heard Melissa speaking earlier about pass-through fees.
Yep.
This would be a consideration of a pass-through fee where the IDA, pays the vendor and then the applicant pays the IDA for that service. That way the, applicants aren't doing their own cost benefit analysis. This helps keep that process independent of any, potential input or swaying by project applicant.
These are things that she had in her letter.
Now,
Mhm.
okay, so this is, I just want to make sure that this is the project that we had the comment on this morning,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm in favor of this particular project, but I would like to make sure that we have or can answer all the issues that were presented to us as a matter of fairness to, make sure that we're alleviating any
Mhm.
issues and try as hard as we can to work with, because if I remember from the previous comments, they weren't opposed to the project. They were just like not happy with
Who wasn't opposed?
the
The-
person
The
who
litigants?
you're that she is representing.
They're opposed to the project.
No, they're opposed to
They're
the project.
opposed.
They are?
Yeah.
Well, I
They're
will, in your
litigating.
meeting minutes, if you go back, I believe, the public comment that we received at the last one stated that they are not opposed to the project, they're
Right.
opposed to the size of the
Okay,
project. So
right.
that was.
Which in essence means you're opposed to the project.
Well, I'll be Chris, I'm not gonna speculate,
Right, that's
so.
Well, just.
I mean, I am,
Draw our own
I am,
No, I understand what you're
I
saying.
mean, Accord
Counsel?
is,
You wanna weigh in on
I'm
this?
happy to talk about this if you want.
Yes.
Please.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to give the impression that we're running roughshod and that we're being ignorant
Understandable.
and
Totally.
deaf
Nope.
And
to
counsel,
what
before
we're
you
hearing.
Say something, may I just. To what Randall mentioned, I agree with fairness. Just let's keep in mind that fairness is a two-sided road.
Correct.
So we have to be
Yeah,
fair to
and when I
not
say
just
fair,
one
what
party.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, I don't think we're being unfair, but I want to make sure that
Yeah.
they feel as if they've been heard and that we've addressed the things, and if we can work something to bring these people along at some point, if we can, if not,
Stop the project.
no, I don't, I mean,
Let's stop it here. Let's
Right.
let Chris speak.
All right. So, first off, I'm gonna try not to be brutally honest like I usually am, but okay. So
no, be brutally honest, because I need
all right.
to.
You asked for it. So the letter was provided the day before the IDA meeting, just like the letter was provided the day before the February IDA meeting. Before we get into the contents of the letter, one man's opinion as your lawyer, I think this is a complete stall tactic. They're hoping you'll put this project on ice indefinitely. That's what they want, in my humble estimation. The letter's filled with conjecture, opinions, not legal analysis, nothing that's a valid legal argument, in my opinion. We've discussed this project ad nauseum at least 3 meetings at this point. We have everything on record. So I'm confident that anything, that there's reference in the letter to, I think, filing an Article 78 proceeding and also ABO being contacted. We deal with the ABO all the time. This is my lane. I'll stand behind everything we've done, and I'm not really concerned about that. One of the things that was mentioned was we should have held another public hearing after minor, in my opinion, changes were made to the application. That's not a legal requirement. We do this all the time where we looked at your application, we noticed one little thing or this. Whether or not it's a big thing or little thing is an opinion, but it's certainly not a legal requirement under the general municipal law to hold a new public hearing. Again, I think most of this is just an opinion for, council representing clients that don't want this project to move forward. That's my estimation. And I think this is all meant to slow down the process. So from my perspective, I am very confident that the IDA has done what they need to do in terms of rigorous discussion. Public hearing was held, analysis, and discussion. There's only, and my other thing I will say is if you mentioned, if we cleaned up what they wanted to get cleaned up.
No, I
What do you
mean, from the last meeting, there was a discussion about the application and
They
and
did make those.
I'm
so we
saying
did make
there's
those
always gonna-
changes,
I-
right?
Yes, but
Okay.
not to the degree they wanted to. But my point is, I think if we did what they wanted to do in the application, then the next set of papers comes that says you didn't do this, you didn't do that, to slow it down.
And haven't we had projects where we've gone to the public hearing? There's been some small thing that maybe we notice in between the now and the public, or whenever in the public hearing, and even after from something brought up in the public hearing that gets remedied after the fact. We don't have a public hearing.
No, and the
A
things,
second public hearing.
the updated application was put on the website. The letter,
Right, it's all public.
the letter from the attorney, the first letter was put on the website. The second letter, I don't know.
Put
if
on
it's
the website,
put on the
yeah,
website last, I mean, it's all available to the public. The IDA is following the rules.
and we do take public comment on agenda items, so any changes have been well labeled on the website, and, public comments on agenda items only can be submitted, both come in person and here in writing, so those changes, I think as the public can, and we see that they have been able to make comment on
Yeah.
those changes as well, so.
Okay, so,
Let me just ask one question.
No,
just
go
for
ahead,
clarity,
Costello.
clarity, Chair, sorry. So we have all the information that we have requested. We are good on our application. We have made everything public and we have not deferred anything. Is that correct?
From our perspective, the application is complete.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. And we have reviewed all the materials that we have, which are in front of us as well and posted on the website. I'm simply repeating what I
Yes,
heard. Okay.
you're correct.
And
All
they
right.
meet the
And
criteria
may I just
for the
point out,
matrix.
please, that if you look at page number 242, I'm relying on this report. Does anybody object to a benefit to tax cost ratio of 13:1?
that is a different project.
Which
So,
one is this? Well, whichever it is.
I left
You
that
and your
one back.
page count.
I
I'm
actually
on the
picked up
page
on
count.
that one, yeah. Don't go by the page count.
All right, so
this-
which one should I look at? That
The,
is different.
yeah,
Yes.
so hang on, sorry.
Yes, it is.
So I like to put the cost, I'm hoping I put it in here. If not, I have it. You guys,
I
we've
got it
had
right
it
here,
in
too.
previous.
I had it
Yeah,
mixed
that's
in.
the one.
Yeah, I pulled it out. Yeah.
Hang on. This is that. So let me pull it up. Hang on.
This one
So
is,
just one quick question. What's
Yes,
our
sir.
requirement for equity? Is it anybody over 5% of an owner of a project to disclose, correct?
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is all over 5%.
And that's not, again, that's just an IDA.
Right.
It's not a legal requirement. That's just something we didn't impose.
I mean, I'm a stick. I mean, we did the thing in Eckwood for Innis, remember?
Mhm.
And I was a stickler
Yeah,
on that, so I'm not, I
Yeah.
don't take this
No.
And the only other thing,
lightly
yeah,
about,
No, we should not
no,
take it.
nobody
Yeah.
takes anything lightly.
the only other legalese item I would point out is an IDA as a public authority could be challenged for one of their decisions or one of the decisions to do something or not to do something. It's called an Article 78 proceeding. The standard there for a court is whether the IDA decision, in this case, if the board decides to move forward with this project, was the IDA arbitrary and capricious in making that determination to move forward with the project? Again, they're based on the discussion, the analysis, the paperwork, the back and forth. I think that would be a difficult hurdle to surmount. Again, not a litigator. We have a hell of a litigator that handles IDs work for us. That handles that, as you know. But just want to give you the legal standard once again.
and overall, the public comment was positive.
I would say it
Fair,
was
right?
50/50.
Yeah, it was
Just
it
mixed.
was a split.
Yeah.
But
It was a good public hearing.
on the website,
It was.
every written comment that was received, the live stream is on there. And the cost benefit ratio for this is also 13-1. Yeah.
Well,
And
the
this,
question still stands.
yeah, so it's 13-1, for the local, benefit being 13, cost being 1, on the ratio side of that, so.
Any other discussion?
No, my questions are answered.
Okay. So can I get a motion on the commercial retail finding resolutions for Accord LLC?
Motion.
Second,
Second,
all in favor? Oh,
Aye.
roll call
Okay,
vote. Okay, Michael Ham, yes. Rachel Silverman,
yes.
Stephen Kelly,
Yes.
Randall Leverett,
Yep.
Joseph Ferraro is absent with notice, Trevor Kerwin,
Yes.
and Costume Wall.
Yes.
Okay. Moving along, Counselor, you are up again.
Thank you, Chair. So now we are on the seeker resolution for this project. In this case, the Town Planning Board of the Town of Rochester, designated as lead agency, determined that the project was a type 1, and like the other project, issued a negative declaration that the project would not have a significant effect on the environment. The idea would be piggybacking off of that determination, concurring with them acting as lead agency, them being the town board, and finding that there's no information to suggest the town board was incorrect in its determination under seeker. Happy to answer.
Council, which page number?
249.
49.
Yep.
Got
What's the 49, and the negative declaration is attached.
Exhibit A. Yep.
1053, yes. It's attached.
So the planning board approved this.
Yes.
And importantly, the town, they made a determination under seeker, and you need to have a determination under seeker before we can approve the project.
Correct. We can take no action without approval of the planning board in the local community.
Correct.
Looks like they were okay with it. Just like the response.
On,
No,
Yeah, I would not comment on that.
on the, okay, on the secret resolution,
So
motion,
moved.
Second,
roll call vote,
there you go.
Michael Ham, yes. Rachel Silverman,
yes.
Stephen Kelly,
Yes.
Randall Leverett.
Yep.
Joseph Ferraro is absent with notice, Trevor Kerwin,
Yes.
and Costa-Walla.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Next up, the approval resolution.
Thank you, Chair. So this is our standard approving resolution for this project.
298.
IDA would find that the project qualifies for the financial assistance. Financial assistance is set forth on Exhibit A as usual. We delineate how much there would be estimated to get in terms of sales tax exemption, mortgage tax exemption, and real property tax exemptions, among other items. I believe this would approve entering into a 15-year pilot. Happy to answer any questions.
On the resolution,
So moved.
Second,
Roll call vote.
call vote. Michael Ham, yes. Rachel Silverman,
yes.
Stephen Kelly,
Yes.
Randall Leverett.
Yep.
Joseph Ferraro is absent with notice. Trevor Kerwin
Yes.
and Costa-Walla.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay. We are
You doing?
moving ahead here
Public hearing
to
comments.
the public hearing comments for 615 Broadway, which was Monday evening.
We take a beat and congratulate them.
No.
I really want
I
to.
think that would be
But
good.
I really
So
want
and
to.
just remind you with this, the speaker is great at picking up even soft whispers.
339.
Sure.
330, I can't read these
We're at
numbers.
339.
Looks like this.
I know, but my numbers are
No, no,
crossed
the
out.
page, the big page.
Yeah, I've got that
Yeah,
one.
I'm lost.
I got that one right there. I just couldn't, the numbers were
We're 339.
a little
I
wonky.
know.
Okay, here it is. I got it.
Mhm.
I feel like a hard rock miner here. Good Lord.
So,
You want me to?
There we go.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so we held the
Doesn't
public hearing on Monday evening at Kingston City Hall. I would say that it was, we probably had about 8 people maybe in attendance, not all of whom, gave comment. There was kind of like a group of people who came and gave general comment on IDAs and their policies. So I think if you haven't had an opportunity to watch the live stream, it's up on our website as well as on our YouTube page. And I think we received no written comments, but the only edit, or I don't know if I would call it an edit, but the only update to this application that I would like to point out for clarity, that there may also be a math error. I got to triple check the math, but you'll notice that the pilot schedule that is typically on page 21 of the application, page 359, has been removed, and you will find an updated pilot schedule on page 371 and then 372. And so what this reflects is, as you may be aware, and if you're not, don't worry, there is language in the IDA's housing policy for projects that kind of go above and beyond to create those affordable units. And this is a project that is creating 20% affordable units, which is above what is required by the city of Kingston. And therefore, they qualify for having those 20% of units be given their year 1 pilot through the pilot period. So you'll note on the schedule where you can see the D1 on page 371 notes the pilot that has been applied to the affordable units, and then the pilot that gets applied to the remainder of the units to give you that updated amounts. And then they submitted that, and then on the second page, on 372, which of course, because Adobe hates me, I cut and pasted our pilot schedule, but apparently it's not in English, and I will somehow fix that. But that's just our language from our housing policy to kind of direct people as to why the pilot schedule looks the way it does. And I will let you know that I did speak with the assessor Dan Baker for the city of Kingston in kind of figuring out how that 20% from an assessor's perspective of affordable units would get applied when contemplating the pilot schedule. So that's what I have. The project is also here today. So if you have questions as you looked at the application, questions or feedback from the public hearing, I know that they're here. We can always have them address questions as well.
So also, while we were there at the public hearing, prior to the public hearing during the middle of the day, there was some slight confusion on the AMI that was being used. Okay, and once we talked to some people about that, everybody felt better about it.
So I did look at the regulatory agreement that was submitted, and I'm hoping I'm reading it right, by Projects Council, and it does say that the AMI to be used when calculating the affordable is for the city of Kingston, which that AMI is significantly lower than the AMI for the rest of the county. So we anticipate those affordable units, once the project comes online, would have a higher level of affordability than if they were using the AMI for the county, which was the, I think, question of several of the comments that were received at the public hearing.
So more people can access it.
Yeah, because it's going to be a lower, because the AMI as it stands today for Kingston is like 60-something thousand, where it's 95,000 for the county. So we're looking at Kingston's AMI, not the county AMI.
Yep.
Just wanted to clarify that question that had been raised.
And once again, like Hillary mentioned, City of Kingston, I believe it's 10%. They went to 20%.
Yeah, they went to 20%, and
affordability.
they've capped the rents on the remainder of the apartments too, to keep them in line with, workforce affordable. And this is all voluntarily affordable. It's not being subsidized through any other means.
That's correct.
So not to make a point, but
Yeah.
just to make sure, they increase the amount of affordability by way of increasing the number of units, And also the AMI we are looking at is favorable to the people who are looking for housing
correct.
so that they can have greater access. So
Mhm.
more people can actually apply for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
And then if there are further questions, again, projects here, you guys have any other questions you'd like to ask? Otherwise, this is just for you, space for you to discuss the project.
Yeah. Discussion?
Nope, nothing.
And again,
Are we all familiar where, on the location? You know the location of the project? Right next to the UPAC building?
Oh,
Used to be a old hotel.
Oh, yeah.
King's End.
Okay,
Right across from Phil
Yeah.
Gordon.
correct?
We just want to say that
you want to come up and
this, Dan Hubble from Whiteman, Osterman, and I'm counsel for the project. So just quickly, I just want to say this, we intend to reply in writing to the public comments. So, we had accounts, my associate was there, we took notes. And so our intent, I think there was some confusion about AMI,
There was.
confusion about the
Real
regulatory
confusion.
agreement. And so our intent is to actually reply to you in writing, addressing each of those comments for the record. So that way you have our response.
Yeah, we spoke to Catherine. We said the same thing, just basically if there's any questions on the AMI, but once that got clarified a little bit better, because there was a little confusion over it, I think that limited the people that showed up, so.
Okay.
Perfect.
Can I
No
just get some
questions.
clarity on the employment plan for somebody?
Yeah, do you want to, I'm sorry.
If you could just elaborate on the employment plan, that'd be helpful.
sure.
I just want to make sure I'm following it correctly. 2114.
Thank you. Yes, okay, so we have for the building itself, property management, maintenance, and leasing are the proposed, um, jobs created by the building itself. And then we have jobs associated with the commercial and retail space. So that's how we got to these 6 jobs that are here. I think Hillary and I discussed this at length, and I think we took a somewhat conservative approach.
These jobs are
That's
located here in
Correct.
Ulster County?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Because the last time you mentioned that there were jobs in New Jersey, part of the accounting and finance department or something, or
That
whatever.
might be another, we have
That might
another
be
project
different.
that's
Yeah, it's not
based
this
out
one.
of Jersey. I don't think that's this
This
project.
isn't it.
Yeah, and
No,
I,
Baxter is based in Dutchess County,
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie, but
Highland.
their leasing property management would be here. The job in we took a very conservative estimate on jobs.
Yeah, really.
We anticipate that there's gonna be more, quite a bit, 2 to 3 times more. There's multiple, spaces for commercial tenancies.
Mhm.
Those, tenancies will obviously, have an owner, but then also have employees. But we think it's speculative in terms of we're not willing to quote commit, for purposes of the IDA to those number of jobs. So we felt that it was better to come in with a conservative
Mhm.
job estimate, knowing that, there's going to be obligations that we have within our project agreement with the IDA to create those jobs. And so we said, well, these are the ones that we know we can create. We feel comfortable with that. But we actually anticipate that there could be, 2,
By the way, it's very conservative.
Yeah. Plus, I think, Randall, if you look towards the matrix and you look in there on the community investment points. All right, so they scored 8 on that going through, using all local people.
right, and that
So,
is, for
huge.
example, landscaping and snow removal and
The,
local.
what's you probably can't give me this, the exact number of units you anticipate 50?
We have, so on the residential side, 70 units, apartments. And on the commercial side, we have, I think we have it divided into 6 spaces right now, but we're trying to make it such that if someone wants to take a greater,
So 70 units,
We got 14 affordable.
14 affordable.
Yeah.
20%.
20%, yeah, that's,
and the
And then the
remaining
remainder
again, at
is-
workforce housing.
Yeah, we're like rents capped at what's affordable to people making 100% of AMI.
So it's
So-
pretty much
It's
Yeah,
pretty
our
good.
view is,
all
our,
affordable.
yeah.
and
our-
that's to the
So-
city's AMI, which
Yeah.
is
And-
lower than the county's.
That's correct. Steve's on spot. He's spot on there.
Our view is that this is a 100% affordable project. It's just the affordability. The affordability is this kind of like the donut that you're seeing in the housing market right now in terms of the span of housing. Kingston Housing Authority, I think they're breaking ground this summer on, I think, 300 units or more that will all be skewed at the low end. There's a lot of market rate stuff, but there's the donut that we worked with the city identified and said in their Office of Housing, they said, this is where we really want to see this project.
It's a
fit."
great project.
Yeah, I, for myself, I really appreciate the fact that I think it's been the first time in a long time that I've seen somebody check the box for 20% to go above and beyond what the municipality is required. And, overall, I think it's a much needed project for this area. And, I'll tell you what,
Especially their workforce.
pretty
housing.
impressed with it. So,
So, go ahead.
Go
No,
ahead, please.
no.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna, the workforce, how is that defined? And is there an income cap and level?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's defined by the
The
regulatory.
AMI?
Yeah, so it's, yeah, by AMI, but so the city has in their code a law that governs how this all works, and then we entered into a regulatory agreement with the city as well that just further elaborates as to how this is going, how this will work. And we gave the regulatory agreement to council, and so AMI, what that is, area median income, that is a fact. Right, that's the fact. And then, so that fact is established,
that's out of our control.
right?
Yeah.
That fact is established. And in conjunction with the city, Office of Housing, and then, those who make 80%, what is affordable for them, which would be generally 30% of their income, that's where the rent is capped at. And then the same thing for those who make at 100% of AMI, what's affordable for someone who's making 100% of AMI for family size and unit type. 30% of that, that's rent,
That's the cap, yeah.
that's cap.
There isn't anybody who's doing this.
And
workforce
the
housing.
property
It's good
was,
stuff.
it was turned over by the city anyway,
city.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was taken by tax foreclosure. It's been sitting vacant.
They put out a request for proposal back in 21, 22. We've been working on it since then.
Yeah, I mean, 18 months or more, I think, going back and forth with.
To get
with
the approval.
Well, no, the approvals, but also with the back and forth with Office of Housing
Yeah,
I mean, there's a whole
yeah. we talked about
iterative
that
process
history
with
last
Office of
week.
Housing, right, to actually put forward a project that
Right.
the city says, yes, that's what
Because
we
there was
want.
a change in the zoning code as well, and so we had multiple iterations of the project until we finally got to a point where we could start the planning board process.
So I was simply going to say, to me, it's going in the right direction. I was questioning the full-time employment because the number seemed low to me. So I'm glad you're being conservative. I think we should be focusing on and supporting these kind of projects, Chair.
I agree. I agree. I would like to see the next applicant move the bar to 25.
Yeah.
Well, I think that workforce housing is really.
Yes.
That's the donut hole. I think that's a huge win for the city of Kingston.
We did have one comment at public hearing that, nothing on your project, but they mentioned the fact that believe it or not, 3-bedroom units are like in big demand. And, I don't tend to disagree with them on that when it
Boogaloo
comes to.
units?
Huh?
What units?
3-bedroom,
Yeah.
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 You know, which, nothing on your project, I mean, for future, you know? But, it's a hard thing to.
One of our other ideas, the housing project that was mentioned, this proposed project,
Mhm.
3-bedroom is kind of what public wants.
Yeah. So,
So we,
but,
Encourage more kids, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, population growth.
but, you know, the board's gonna go all through this and, you know, looks like a solid project, so.
is there any action that we need to take today?
No, so the next step would be seeker resolution,
And
commercial
approving
findings
resolution.
resolution, and the approving resolution.
Correct.
And just to confirm, we have everything we need from the applicant, all the information, any clarifications?
Yes, I think, I'm noticing we just moved the number wrong from the,
The pilot,
the pilot over to the application, so we'll correct that as this is what their payment is, but then when we put it on that other page, it's actually the, cost of incentive, so they've moved over what their actual pay, it just has to get flipped. And then you'll also note on page 373, we did do a, cost benefit analysis for this project. I know in the past, we've had other housing projects, we've had a few one other one use this, and we had 2 others do a more comprehensive study to support the commercial findings. In this case, this project has clear support from the city of Kingston. They submitted a letter to council from the mayor. They also have that regulatory agreement. Our, typical cost benefit analysis calculator that we have with MRB does allow us to enter housing units as well as, income. So we're able to capture the information that we need in response to council being able to do a commercial findings resolution. I think if there were further questions that the board had that they don't feel is well articulated in this, now would be the time to say something.
So it's, I mean, my slow adult brain, it's market rate, but not market rate is.
No, it's not market
It's
rate.
not
Market
market
rate.
rate.
It's not
Right,
market
that's what
rate.
I'm,
Yeah,
it's not
it's-
micro.
yeah.
Not,
None of
no,
it is
this
market,
is-
Yeah,
none of
I
it is
mean,
market.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
but
right,
this
that's
is-
what I'm, it's market rate, but it's not because of the cap and the
The
agreement
regulatory agreement,
that
correct.
has been gone into, so.
This
No,
is
but
supported
it's not
housing.
market rate at all.
It's not market rate.
There's no market rate
No
on the
market
whole
rate.
It's
building.
not behind the door.
Yeah, it may look like the same as maybe someone who's just going out there and renting from Joanne down the street. The price tag potentially on some of those 120 units could walk hand in hand, but it is not market rate.
Yeah, because
have that
regulatory
regulatory
agreement trumps that,
agreement.
right?
Right, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
that's,
So it
that's
negates the question
right.
of market rate.
Right.
Well,
Market rate is not, it's not an issue here.
Applicable.
It's not applicable.
If you see a dramatic price increase for apartments in Kingston, that will not happen here unless if there's a dramatic increase in AMI.
Which,
Right.
every year,
right,
So our,
Could be a good thing.
our ability to raise rents is limited to AMI,
Right.
whatever AMI is. It's a calculation.
They
Our
have
rent-
accepted a cap.
Right.
no, I understand that,
Which
which
is
is why almost the 15 or 20% doesn't much matter when it's stabilized based on the
Just two
agreement.
different, just two
Let's-
different categories.
two
that's
different
all.
tiers on the
Yes.
AMI.
Two different
Ah,
tiers on the
Yeah,
AMI.
you
One
got
is workforce.
the workforce and then you have the affordable.
Okay,
So, you take, what's the affordable, 80?
80.
So you got 80. You got 80 as opposed to 100.
Right.
Right.
Well. it's
Well,
120.
120.
yeah,
120, I'm
120,
sorry.
The workforce is
Yeah.
120,
120.
yeah.
120.
And-
So, you got quite the disparity there, so. And when you base it off of the average income.
I'm just trying to
city of
get to,
Kingston.
yes,
Yeah.
so
I get it,
don't,
I get it.
don't,
we
Maybe
appreciate
the
that.
only thing I could think that you're thinking of is that we're not doing a tax credit deal, right? It's not LIHTC, and
There's,
we're doing private financing.
Yeah, this is different from RUPCO.
Yeah,
You know,
you have,
Rup-
they have
Rup-
no,
We still have compliance,
Right,
of course,
right,
with
but this
those.
you have no
8%
other
and
subsidy,
120, but
you have nothing
no,
else.
You know, we're getting,
That's
it's
it.
different. RUPCO comes in, they have a tax credit investor that gives a bunch, buys the tax credits.
Right, different
And then
deal.
they get subsidies from the state, they get low interest rate bond financing from
Right.
the state.
Sure.
Mhm.
This
You
is a
know,
nice,
You know,
clean
and Section
project.
8 stuff.
This
No,
is, no.
no
And we'll
vouchers.
take it, right. I mean, of course, if
not
someone comes with a tenant-based
project
Section 8 voucher, we'll take it, right? Like, we're obligated to do that. But we also don't have a problem with doing it, you know?
Mhm.
It's, Baxter, this is the third project I think you're doing like this. You have the one up in Hudson,
Yeah.
you got one similar bit in New Paltz.
Yep.
That we didn't go for benefits for.
And then we have other projects in Poughkeepsie and Dutchess that have affordable components as well, like our property management team is well versed in.
So they figured out, this is a product type that they figured out how to build cost effectively and make available without actually going to the state for public funds. So I mean, many private developers are getting in line for those 9% bond financings, 4% bond
And you said
financing.
it's not publicly funded, it's privately funded.
Privately funded. We'll have a private lender, and then we'll have, you know, equity from doctors, lawyers, other
Yes, we'll
folks
get
who
this done.
want to be part of it.
We have another meeting?
Yeah,
We do.
CRC.
No, another meeting for.
Oh, yeah, we have, yeah.
We will
What do we have
To
to
do
do
the
to be able to
resolutions.
advance this project?
Yeah,
Doesn't, we
this
don't
is-
need any resolution on
Yeah,
this,
this is
but
just,
Not to.
this is just
Yeah.
discussion, but if you feel that you would like the project to provide more information, clarity on anything, we will correct the one calculation on the pilot, but otherwise, at this point.
We're doing this because we care.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Yeah.
All
Thank you.
right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're-
Okay. New business.
Yeah.
Hillary.
All right, very quickly. So the New York State Economic Development Conference is coming up in May. I'm just seeking the board's permission, even though we do account for in the budget, the costs can vary. And so anytime we go above $500, we like to have board approval for those expenditures for the cost of the conference and then the hotel accommodations or being up in Cooperstown.
Did you book it yet?
No, I haven't. I was waiting for approval.
Get a room.
So moved.
The
so
Osaga will be sold
moved,
out
as
by
long
the
as it's
weekend.
not $10,000.
Uh,
10,000, no.
So moved.
So
All right,
yes.
thank you.
Second.
so moved.
All right,
All in favor?
Aye.
okay, and now, that's all. Thank you.
Motion to
This is
adjourn.
UCCRC,
Motion for adjournment?
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, right in, on a break?
No.
Oh, goodness.
No break.
You want to?
I don't want.
You're it today.
Oh, that's right. Still hyped up on
You
that.
wait for the end, or you can
was.
listen to them now.
I'm sitting there talking to everybody, kicking back, and you ran. What do he's calling me about?
You don't have to explain. I never explained to anybody.
I went, oh, man. I
We're still
forgot.
live. I don't know if you guys.
Okay, so I'd like to call to order the Ulster County Capital Resource Corporation meeting here on March 25th, 2026. The time is 11:23. Roll call, Michael Ham, present, Rachel Silverman,
Present.
Stephen Kelly,
Present.
Joseph Ferraro is absent with notice, Trevor Kerwin, Randall Leverett, and Costi Walla.
Present.
Thank you. In front of you, you will have the minutes from the February 18th, 2026 regular meeting on page 3. I ask that you review and I'll look for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment on agenda items only. Executive session, there is none necessary. The chair's report, let the chair's report from the UCIDA reflect the chair's report for the UCCRC. Executive director's report.
Let the executive director's report also reflect the executive director's report for the UCIDA.
Thank you, Hillary. Committee reports, audit, draft 2025 audited financial statement. Steve?
That was completed in the, earlier when the accountants were here.
I move that we accept the
Audited
audited
financial
financial statement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we need a roll call on that, council?
No.
Not for this. Okay. Thank you, Steve. Finance, Rachel?
Again, the investment report was presented earlier in the finance meeting. Can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
CRC investment report.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Governance.
Yes, sure.
There
So
you.
we have one item that we would like to discuss. We have brought it up previously. The governance committee has been reviewing and working on a loan fund policy to be able to basically allow and help not-for-profits have a bridge fund, if you know, for the lack of better term.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a draft of that, in fact, a resolution of that, beginning page number 65. Is that correct? Lewis?
Yeah, the resolution is
Okay.
65, the draft of the loan fund follows that.
Yep.
On
And then
71.
the loan fund policy begins on page number 71. I'm assuming everybody has had a chance to review it in at least some detail, but it's a very standard form that our council worked on. And we have discussed this previously. We have set aside some funds. We have a limit or loan amount between 10 to 50,000. The total loan fund capital, which is 275,000, and just as a reference point, we did the Audit and Finance Committee today, so if you all remember that we have a decent cash balance for UCCRC, so that is where it'll be coming out from, or allocated from. The loan loss reserve allocation, which we hope never to touch, but is 25,000. And then there's an application cycle, and for which we have an application as well. And I will let Hillary speak after this, but the details and the terms begin generally on page number 73, and before that, we will also be forming a loan committee. So that
Nice.
kind of covers in just.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add has to do this, we're putting together, Shannon's putting together an application that would be part of this process.
Oh, I am too, so. Well, I'll go with Shannon.
Someone is. And so the application would work hand in hand with this loan policy. The prospective applicant and not-for-profit corporation would need to fill out this. We'd have to kick the tires on the application, make sure it qualifies for the benefits under the loan fund. And as mentioned, if this is adopted, we would need to have 3 members appointed to the new loan committee.
Yep.
Which is something.
And just for reference, it was brought to my attention that one of the local banks is also forming a fund like this. So to me, more people, the merrier, because it only supports our idea
Mm-hmm.
and it only provides a deeper bucket for our funds available to all the folks who want to help.
Yep.
So I think it's only a positive, not a negative.
No, I agree. Community Foundations, which some of you may be familiar with, is partnering with Ulster Savings, and they're doing a similar bridge loan program for nonprofits, but they're serving the entire Mid-Hudson region. So I think this will be a nice opportunity for specific Ulster County nonprofits. Again, these funds are somewhat limited, and depending on the grant or the bridge loan that's needed, this would be maybe a nice opportunity for partnership, or again, working to, again, the more money we can kind of have out and available to our community, we feel again will be a positive. And as Chris stated, we are working on the application. I think the next step would be, as the board moves ahead with this, we would likely then at the subsequent meeting of the IDA kind of bring all of the more like in the weeds stuff for approval. We'll have our loan committee form. I'm guessing we'll likely open and need permission to open a bank account in order to set aside those funds, which we'll need. So there's a lot more approvals that are going to come down, but we'd like to see, I think, early summer maybe be.
I would say sooner than that if we can,
Sure.
because we should roll it out as soon as
Roll it
possible.
Yeah.
To me, I will be very open. To me, this is, I think, a very good draft. In fact, if the council says this is not draft, this is fully formed, I would say please review and opine on it. And I would even be willing to recommend that the board looks at it now and thinks about voting on it. with the contingency that we have a correct application form.
Yeah, I mean, the way the resolution's set up, this formally approves the loan
All right.
policy.
So
So I
maybe
prefer
may I,
whether or not-
I would say I will step ahead unless anybody disagrees. May I please seek a recommendation or move?
Can I ask one
Motion,
question?
yes.
Just about the language around the interest rate.
Yes, please.
Should we, given the environment we live in, should we be expressing that as a fixed rate? Should we be expressing it as a spread over whatever
Yeah, currently.
reference rate is, or do we want to just do
I was
that in a
gonna,
sense
yeah,
that,
I was
I mean,
gonna,
just
was
to
it
make it
floating?
fair.
Does it
So what
change with
percent? Is it
the,
four?
It is 4 or
it's
Yeah, I think we
4%?
say
Does
cost of
refer-
capital, but we don't really define, or maybe we just say cost of capital, I don't know, and it's
Yeah.
passed
So
through.
It's
us-
cost
what
tied to
we-
CD rates. whatever
Yes,
that is.
exactly.
Right.
So we are tying our cost of capital to CD rates because that's where we get a return.
Right.
We could look at money market, but I think CD would be more prevalent.
Okay.
And that's what we looked at. But you're right, we should clarify that as long as council's okay with doing that. But we can make it contingent on that as well.
But I think we also, as you think about that, I mean, there are a number of different options for CD rates. So what, I mean, if we move from one to the other at some point, you know what I mean?
We can peg to whatever is published rate if you want. And
Only defer to you folks.
we were simply looking at what rate we are getting. So we were not looking at which parties we looked at. We were looking at which one we accepted.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. That way we can
Because
look at
that's
what
our
we
cost of
already have.
capital.
Well, it seems likely that we're gonna continue to have CDs
Correct.
and we just peg it to our last most current rate.
Yes, whatever we are getting should be our pegged rate.
Okay.
Right. That way we're not out any money by.
Yeah.
So based on that, the current language sticks, I believe.
That's correct.
So,
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
So may I please, if no questions, I'm happy to answer more questions. And so I think it's Hillary. and-
Motion.
Well, I was gonna ask about defaults.
Yeah.
And collections.
It's in there, isn't it?
And, yeah,
Yes,
it's,
there
it's,
is.
it's
Yeah.
in here, but I mean, if you have a not for profit, it's not like, I mean, what do we?
So
I believe the language was at our discretion to some
It was.
degree.
It
Correct.
is, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are also, keep in mind, we are also appointing a committee that is reviewing the application. So we are doing our diligence that we
Well,
need to.
Just
The
the,
collateral's in there also.
Correct.
So, loans have to be secured. So
Right.
It's
Well,
secured
the
against
collateral
the
is the
grant.
grant that is
correct.
being received.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So we
That
have
seems
looked
low
at this
risk
as
to
well.
me.
I like the language. Collateral shall be
Yep.
perfected as required by the law. Like, I mean, it's,
I mean, obviously, Chair, were this to be adopted and then the board looked at that and said, hey, notice this, or we thought about
Yeah.
this, it's always
And we
subject
can
to
amend,
subject
like
to
we did with
refinement
UCIDA.
by a resolution, like everything else.
So I just give the rest of the board some background. I met with the Columbia County EDC that has we mirrored our policy off their policy. I met with them. They've sent us a lot of their documents and walked through kind of what their process is. So this is really a mirror of what another LDC is doing, that they've been successful over many, many years. They've had their loan funds for like over 20 years. And in that time, I think they've only had to go into like call the loan like twice. And, so they've been pretty successful. So we thought we'd start with, modeling it after another successful policy.
Well, and as it says, there's the collateral, which is the grant money, right?
Grant money is the
there's-
collateral.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's right.
Yeah.
They'll get the grant.
The other question that I have is, you have a loan committee, but servicing loans is an administrative function. Is that going to entail the need for additional people to do some of this administrative
I did ask.
stuff that
Columbia
needs to?
County. I said, how much time? And given, I think, the amount of loans that we anticipate doing annually, which we kind of estimate maybe 4 or 5 loans a year. And that could depend again on when the grants are coming due, but they said that you could absolutely do that with a spreadsheet. They did 3 times that on a spreadsheet for many, many years. And that, we can get these invoices, you get boilerplate language from council, so that kind of investment comes up front, but then they kind of work pretty, fluid process from there. And given the amount of loans that we're doing, we feel administratively we can manage that work at this
And
time.
Randall, I think this is my opinion only. I think even if we get additional capacity, increase the size basically, or we get additional capacity from outside, let's say another entity in the county says, hey, can you manage our loan fund? I think we will have a lot of flexibility. And that'll allow us to actually think about how do we want to really approach it from an administration standpoint? Do we want to do it in-house or do we want to outsource it?
Right, right.
And there are things that we can do. So I don't see this as being a big problem. And also Hillary is getting one more staff member.
Yes.
Be a good problem to have.
Yeah. So anyways, any more questions? No? May I please seek a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in
Thank you,
favor?
Chair. Thank you,
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now,
Okay.
Yes.
You asked any questions after?
no.
No, I'm kidding.
No.
So do we want to move to adopt the resolution?
We just did.
We just did. That
We
was-
just did.
You just made that
Yes, you just
motion.
I
did.
just
You
made the
made the
motion.
Yeah,
Never
it was you who
mind.
made the motion.
I tell you what, I'm having a day today. I really am.
Okay.
We are on the annual report, Chair.
Yes.
Do we want,
Because I was on that.
Where
committee for
are
that,
we?
and-
Loan fund, financials, accounting, yes. Annual report on page 89.
yeah, Matt coming back up.
Come on up,
This will be
Matt.
much quicker, I promise. So. Here, you're gonna just give it back when you're
Let
done.
Matt's Paris report reflect the report.
Oh,
that was
man.
given.
Matt, you're back.
All right.
All right.
Get my steps in.
The frame five.
All right.
Good night.
No, it was the morning.
Oh,
All right, Matt, go ahead.
So basically the same as the IDA, we have several sections with the prepared report, which we have to file with the ADO. First section is your governance, so basically how the CRC operates. You're abided by certain regulations that are set forth. Section after that is your board directors listing. Same as the IDA. So nothing really changed there. And then on page 95, you have your staff listing. Again, it was Hillary and Natalie for year 2025. The only difference here was the CRC does not have Natalie and Hillary on payroll. Payroll is handled by the IDA. The CRC reimburses the IDA through the shared service agreement. Your next section is your subsidiary component. Just like the IDA, there are no subsidiaries of the CRC, so that section is lumped in. Next, you have your audited financial statements that were presented by Melissa from PKF. Those are just represented in the next couple pages. Your next section is your current debt. Another difference here between the IDA, there was a bond issued for the Woodland Pond series in 25. So that is listed here. The CRC only has conduit debt, and we report that the debt retired for 25 on page 102. Page 103, you have your real property acquisition disposal list, so what's none. There's also no personal property for the CRC as well. CRC reported no grants on page 106. Also, there was no loan information on page 107. On page 108, this starts the list of all your projects. You have 3 active projects in 25. And you have your mission, goals, measurement. Same idea as the IDA, lists as the mission of the CRC, the goals that you guys met, all that fun stuff. Same with operations and accomplishments. Just some corporate highlights for the year. you have your procurement report, so just like the IDA, any contracts that the CRC enters into, they pay more than $5,000 a year. Once you're reported here, so basically it's your fees for accounting services, audit, and then the shared service agreement with the IDA. That's
That's a wrap. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
So,
We have to,
Need a motion?
yeah,
yeah,
we have to get a
and
motion to accept these reports.
he went through both I don't know if we have to separate them out, but he did discuss the procurement report, so just make sure
Can we
if
do
you
them
make the motion,
collectively?
just combine them both for me.
You want to separate them? It's not-
Separate,
Okay.
that's we did the idea.
So can we get a motion to accept the annual report draft?
So, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Can we also get a motion to accept the procurement report?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, old business. Even though seeker is spelled wrong, but it's a
Sorry.
seeker resolution
It's a
for
cert.
senior
It's
life.
a circ. I can't
Man, you
wait.
really need this system.
Oh, you have no idea.
All right.
I just want to cry.
Page 118.
We're good, we're good.
Chris?
I'll take this. Thank you, Chair.
right.
This relates to the Village in the Hudson Valley project. We recall we discussed this in last few meetings. The applicant is Senior Life Foundation, Inc. It relates to the construction of senior living residence, assisted living and memory care, senior residence, community clubhouse, lift station, etc. in the town of Lloyd. In this case, from a seeker perspective, the town of Lloyd Planning Board acted as lead agency, determined this is a type 1 action that will not have a significant effect on the environment. They issued a negative declaration to that effect, which is Exhibit A to your resolution. This, as usual, this is the gold standard we like as a CRC and an IDA. Well, we're concurring that the planning board properly acts as the agency and no information suggests that they were incorrect in their seeker determination. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Motion to accept the seeker resolution?
So moved.
Second.
All in, roll call vote. Okay, Michael Ham, yes. Rachel Silverman,
Yes.
Stephen Kelly,
Yes.
Joseph Ferraro is absent with notice, Randall Leverett.
Yep.
Trevor Kerwin,
Yes.
and Costa.
Yes.
Thank you. Chris, you're up.
Thank you, Chair. The next one is the bond resolution. This approves the issuance of tax exempt and taxable bonds. As we've previously discussed, the limit to this is up to $150 million for the project. Although the project applicant does not think it'll be that up to that amount, we always kind of round up for purposes of not having to come back and get another approval of the CRC. A reminder that the tax exempt bond portion of this would be conditioned on receiving approval from the county executive.
I did speak with them, so they are aware that the CRC is considering this project.
And just a reminder that part of one of the things to consider with tax exempt bonds versus taxable, for a tax exempt bond to be issued for this type of qualified 501c3 bond, there's an ownership requirement. So the tax exempt bond proceeds will only be used to finance facilities, projects, equipment, etc., owned by the 501c3. Okay, you can't use tax exempt bonds for something that's not owned by the C3. Taxable bonds will be used to finance that portion of the project. We go through a rigorous, as bond counsel, analysis of what the proceeds will be used for. There's a tax questionnaire that gets filled out because we have to give the opinion that the bonds are tax exempt. So we take that very seriously. So this resolution authorizes the issuance of the bonds by the CRC and authorizes the chair, the vice chair, or Hillary to sign the relevant documents. Happy to answer questions.
Looks good.
Yeah. So the taxable bonds, why can't they have non-taxable bonds if it's a 501c3? Who's doing the stuff that's using the taxable bonds? Is there a separate company or something?
I recall, and this one's a little complicated, but there is part of the financing. There's a portion of the facility, not the main facility, but there's prefab residences, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Right.
Their ownership structure is not owned by the 501c3. So in this case, the applicant would see taxable bonds from the CRC because even though the interest isn't tax exempt, they get a better rate of interest, better cost of borrowing by going through the CRC than going through a commercial bank.
Note to self.
So and we do this quite commonly.
We might have in addition to that.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, come on up. Yeah.
Sure.
Don't have COVID in January.
It's, it was a
In
doozy.
addition to that, there's also a cap on the amount of proceeds on tax exempt that can be pledged towards the cost of issuance. So there's a 2% cap. I'm Pastine, Sullivan on Financial for the Senior Life Foundation. So there is a 2% cap on the cost of issuance that includes the legal fees, the administrative fees, everything, our underwriting fee, which probably will be somewhere in the family of 4.5 to 5.5%, depending upon what the size of the issue will be. If we do use the whole 150 million, the administrative fee is the whole 1% of 150 million. What's contemplated with that right now is that the current sponsor's seller is going to retain some paper in the transaction, and that if he were to utilize some of the bond issuance permissible, he would take that paper in the form of a subordinate note, subordinate to the transaction. And that's the only way it would get to that higher number, because right now, when I leave here, I'll go to a consiglie's office and we'll roll around on the project fund costs, project to guaranteed maximum price for a while. But ultimately, project fund will probably be around 85 million.
Just to stop you there, Armin. So back to the 2% limit that he referenced.
Yeah.
So basically that means that 2% of all the cost of issuance, my fee, underwriter's fee, you can only use tax exempt bonds up to 2% of the total amount of proceeds. So to deal with that, if they need another $1 million or whatever to cover costs, they just take that out of the taxable bond bucket. That's totally acceptable. You use that to pay for the overage over 2%. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, they call it a taxable tail to cover the overage of what's permissible under the tax opinion.
Yep.
So the subordinate thing that you were just referencing, do we have interest in that as well? In some,
Not really. That's kind of outside the transaction. Bonds will be issued by the CRC, whether or not there's a subordinate note that's being worked out. That's not part of our transaction.
okay.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion for the bond resolution?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call vote. Michael Ham, yes. Rachel Silverman,
Yes.
Stephen Kelly,
Yes.
Joseph Ferraro is absent with notice. Randall Leverett.
Yep.
Trevor Kerwin.
Yes.
And Costa Wallet. Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you. I have a process question.
Sure.
After this approval, thank you.
Mhm.
Is there one more process with the administrative county seat, or is there anything?
Yeah, they're gonna likely draft documents. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, the county executive needs to approve the tax exempt piece.
To sign off on it?
Just a certificate, which will run up the flagpole with Hillary's
I've
help.
spoken to their office, so they're aware, and, we'll review those documents and then we'll follow up with you once those are in.
If we have to make ourselves available for that,
No, not typically, but if we do, we'll let you know.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you
thanks.
very much.
Okay, real quick, I'd like to cleanse my soul because I went way out of order when we were handling the UCCRC, so I'd like to read the mission statement.
Wow.
Okay, so the mission of the Ulster County Capital Resource Corporation is to promote community and economic development in Ulster County in ways that complement the work of Ulster County, primarily through issuing and selling bonds for nonprofit institutions. Okay, thank you for that. And at this time, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Wait, what happened?
It's the
Oh, that.
sound. Someone get the sound.